Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to live?
Good morning, folks. And welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out and hit that like button, because this is where we're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well, but what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media, share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, today we are going to get into an interesting topic that was brought up at some way yesterday, and we'll see where it goes from here. Now, on a show like today, I'm going to say panelists can come up immediately for this particular one, because we are doing a show on my wife versus my daughter versus my expectation. Because if you saw what was going on yesterday, then you'll know the couple things were mentioned yesterday. And I say, hey, we'll go ahead and explore this particular thing. We will go ahead and explore it. And that's what we're about to do. Now, before we get started, y'all, I want to say shout out to all the people who give me views on a regular basis. I definitely appreciate y'all, because y'all make up the fam around here. So appreciate you. Shout out to all the people who leave comments after the stream. These things help the algorithm big time. You know, shout out to all y'all. Shout out to everyone who hypes me up every chance they get. And shout out to everybody who hits that like button. And please keep in mind, there's never a bad time to do any of those things. I don't care how old the stream is. You like it. You hype it up. You know, you leave your comments. You do what you got to do. But it's always a good time to make the Roger Report Live shine. It's always a good time to do that. So we're going to... And also, I want to say shout out to the people who check in right away. And this show was just hard to see because I just got it up at 9. So shout out to the people who've been definitely on the watch. And I ain't even seen who it is today yet, but I'm proud of you, whoever this happens to be. Shout out to the Highlander of today's stream, because this was a person that was truly, truly, truly on the ball. It turns out to be my main man, Trail Bentley, representing as the Highlander of the stream. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's baby. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. I know you was on the ball today. Shout out to my main man, Floyd Thompson, who came in right behind him. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. We also got my main man, the pitmaster himself, Chef Mike Roundtable was in the building as well. Good to have you, brother. Good to have you. Y'all, these are the dedicated troops today. Y'all, the dedicated troops. Shout out to Inspired Troop Broadcast. Glad to have you in the building. And yes, I'm working on your show, brother. I'm working on your show. I have not forgotten you. I have not forgotten you. Shout out to Tunnel Runner. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. We got Bucket in the house as well. And we got the Great Black Reset in the building talking crazy already, y'all. He talking crazy already. But y'all, again, today's show, because of the nature of the show, I'm going to invite people up right away. Why? Because I ain't got no daughter. So I got to be fair with stuff, y'all. I have to be fair with stuff. And I try to be that way whenever I can. But there was a concept that we were going over. And, shout out to Jado was saying that, you having a daughter is, very much like having a wife. And I'm not going to say there ain't some similarities there. Of course, there's going to be some similarities there. But is the relationship you have with your wife like the relationship you have with your daughter outside of sexual things? Okay. Now, I'm going to say my legitimate expectation, yeah, it's going to be some different stuff. Even outside of sex. Now, we not going to have a stream where we talking about sex and people's daughters like we're dumb, ignorant people, y'all. We're not going to do that. We supposed to be adults over here. All right, we supposed to be intelligent people over here. So if you really, really stupid, stay off the flow today, y'all. Okay, don't come to the show today if you really, really, really stupid. Okay, now regularly, I don't mind the stupid people coming over. I just gotta say, you can't get on the panel today if you're an idiot. We definitely can't do that. All right, and honestly, some stupid people, you probably want to just listen and not make any comments. Okay, that's probably what you want to do. Just listen to the show and don't even make any comments. And I don't normally tell people not to make any comments, but this ain't gonna be the type of show for stupid people to make comments on. It's good for you to learn, but not a good show for you to make comments on. So if stupid people happen to come over here, or if you happen to be listening, yeah, think about it. Okay, this ain't your type of show to really comment on. But we're gonna get into this relationship between the daughter and the wife, because as Jado was saying, it's pretty much the same thing. Now, I'm gonna say I will give credence to that statement. Okay, I do believe no matter what you really feel about it, it's gonna be somewhat of the same thing. Okay, now some ways I'm sure this could be good, some other ways maybe not so good. All right, and their expectation of you. Oh, give me 1 second, folks. This might be important. All right. My apologies about that, y'all. That was actually very, very, very important, but we all good. We all good. We gonna keep it going. My apologies about that. Now, shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. Appreciate you, my brother. He says elementary school versus grad school, not the same. Well, I guess that's a good comparison. That's definitely a good thing to say. Now, and I'm also gonna say, y'all, if you send a cash app today, I'm not gonna be able to see it today. There's a phone that I use to receive those cash apps, and I damaged that phone yesterday, so I'm gonna have to take it somewhere and get it repaired. So hopefully I have a chance to do it tomorrow. I doubt I get a chance to do it today, but that's just the way it goes on that one. So if somebody sends something, I will, mention it later. And I'm definitely gonna appreciate it. It's just that I won't be able to see it until I get this phone repaired. So, I'm thinking, can I get it another way? I might be able to come up with a way to get it, but right now it's definitely a damaged phone, so I'm not gonna see it. Unfortunately, I did it last night, so that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, y'all. That's how the cookie crumbles. Also, shout out to Great Black Reset. He says there is no link posted. My bad, brother. My bad. I didn't post the link. I thought I did that, but I'll jump on that one right away, brother. I'll jump on that one right away. Now, I'm going to say, y'all, when it comes down to it, there's going to be some differences between the relationship a man's going to have with his wife and his daughter. Obviously, there's enough there that it required me doing a show about it, which is fine because I'm here for the people, y'all. I'm here for the people. I definitely expect that there will be enough differences, but I can definitely understand why people say, well, there's going to be some similarities there. Because, yes, as a man, you are supposed to be the authority of your household. You are supposed to be the last person checked. That's the last person to get approved about something. They're supposed to check off things with you. If you don't say it's good, it just ain't good. Now, they can do all they want by themselves. But when it comes down to it, if they can't get it past you, it ain't supposed to happen. Now that would go for a daughter, but that would also go for a wife. If they cannot get it past you, it is not supposed to happen. All right. Just is what it is. All right. Now, this is the thing. Of course, a man is going to look at his wife different because that's a different form of relationship he's going to have with her. Because, yes, there is a sexual nature to their relationship. Okay. And if a man marries a woman, he's going to go into covenant with that woman. All right. Now, a lot of people say a lot of stuff about, relationships and kids and marriage, even divorces and things like that. But it's definitely different because a man does not go into covenant with his children. A woman does not go into covenant with her children. So it's a little bit different. If my child do something to me, I'm definitely going to look at it one way. Okay. Now, we all know kids ain't going to be perfect. You do not have to teach children to do bad things. They're going to do that on their own. We teach kids to be good. We don't really teach kids to be bad. Bad's going to come no matter what. Now, you can teach a kid to be bad. You can teach a kid to be worse than what they should be. And hold on, I just posted that link. I'm not seeing it pop up in the chat. Let me try that again because I'm not seeing it pop up in the chat. That's interesting. All right. Now, of course, anybody can be good or bad. There are some people who live a certain kind of lifestyle and they will teach their children to do bad things. This is not a very normal thing. Even people who are crooks, drug dealers, hustlers, corrupt politicians, all kinds of stuff that people do. But normally, normally a lot of them will teach their children to quote unquote be good, especially a daughter. Now, I ain't gonna lie, it's some folks that's into the corrupt stuff, and every once in a while you'll have some of them folks, they're gonna bring their sons into it. You know, if you running the drug empire, you eventually bring your son into the drug empire. Some of these things, depending upon how big you are going to just be hidden from children. You know, and it will be justified to them later, like, yeah, you know, this is what I did to give y'all the life that y'all got. Okay, so don't trip, don't be so self-righteous. When you've been benefiting off all this stuff all this time, then that could be drug money. Because let's keep it real, y'all. Now, I ain't talking about no drug money where you got somebody selling a couple bags a week. No. It's all kinds of white folks and other folks who move real weight. Okay, they move real weight on a regular basis, and they do get to live some somewhat lavish lifestyle sometimes because of the weight that they move. Now they selling real drugs. Okay, I know the media would paint a picture that black men out here selling drugs. No, they selling real drugs. Okay, what I mean by real, I'm talking about they talking about keys, and they ain't talking about one or two. They sell real drugs. They got the ships, they got the planes, they make stuff move. Okay, stuff may eventually find its way to a black hand here or there. But no, they got drugs. They supplying the nation. Okay, they ain't just selling to some black folk. They selling to the nation. Okay, all kinds of folks do cocaine. All right, all kinds of folks do meth. All kinds of folks do fentanyl. You know, whatever drug you want to name, they got real drugs. They moving real weight. Okay, black folks, we talk about drugs. You know, we talk about it. They be about it. You know, we get a key. We think we the, you know what I'm saying? We think we on top of the world. Okay. If they get a key, they gonna kill somebody because a key ain't supposed to come by itself. See, that's the difference. Okay. We get a key, we a big dog. They get a key, somebody getting shot because a key ain't supposed to show up alone. It's supposed to show up with more keys. You know, so that's how that goes. Shout out to my main man, J Bones. Appreciate the super sticker, my brother. Appreciate the super sticker. Okay. Now I'm gonna say both parties are still drug dealers, but they're very much different. Okay. Some random black guy in some random neighborhood, technically, if he's selling drugs, he's still a drug dealer. But some white guy, some Hispanic guy, you know, whatever you want to call it, somebody with a boat, somebody with a plane, yeah, they sell drugs too. But they doing it far differently than some random black guy in some neighborhood. Okay, it's a far cry. You know, the difference is definitely there. So when it comes to a daughter and a mother, is there a real difference between those? You know, I think it is. And I think men will have different expectations generally for both of them. That's what I truly believe. Okay. I grew up with sisters. I can't say my sisters was treated like my mother. I got aunties. I can't say my aunties was treated like my cousins. Not that I was seeing. Okay. It's definitely major differences in the treatment. All right. Shout out to Afro Merch. Now, even having a daughter, you know, for me, it's, you know, the thought of having a daughter. Yeah, I'm gonna put some expectations on my daughter that I wouldn't necessarily put on my wife. That would be my expectation. You know, I mean, start off, I get to at least name a daughter. Can't name a wife. You know, I mean, the woman, she already got her name. You know, I mean, technically, I guess you can rename somebody if you want to go through all that process or whatever. You can go through those type of things, you know, expectation wise, you name your daughter. At least you can have an expectation to name your daughter. I know everybody didn't necessarily name their daughter, but you have an expectation that you could at least be part of the process to name your daughter. But your wife, you just gonna take the name she come with. It is what it is. All right. Now, are you supposed to be responsible for your wife? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, a lot of people don't take that serious when it comes to women because, you know, they look at stuff differently and they always trying to gain an advantage here or there. Now, is a daughter going to try to gain an advantage with their father here or there? Oh, absolutely. I mean, we all know kids will try to ask one parent for something, then go behind the other parent back and then talk to the second parent, trying to manipulate a situation, trying to get what they want. Kids going to do that stuff. So that's going to include daughters too. So a man does have to always watch what his daughter is on at the end of the day. All right. He got to watch what his daughter on. She might be on some nonsense at any given moment. Should his, does he have to have that expectation with his wife that she may be on some nonsense any given moment? I'm going to say yes, for a certain part, kind of, yeah, kind of, sort of. You got to always make sure your wife ain't turned into a knucklehead. You have a different expectation of your wife because you meet your wife, you have this certain kind of relationship with your wife. You don't have the expectation that your wife is going to do knucklehead stuff. But your daughter, of course, there's going to be an expectation for her to do knucklehead stuff. She's a person that's growing up. There's all types of influences out here in the world. Now kids are living with more influences than folks and Gen X and up have lived with, because when we grew up, we were basically already kind of grown up before the internet really turned into a thing. And social media kind of became a thing around 2014. All right. These folks nowadays, yeah, they got a lot more than TV. They got a lot more than, folks used to listen to the radio on a regular basis. Television, took a chunk out of that, but stuff spread around. You got the movie culture. There's different things that happen in the world, and people look at things a different way. But at the end of the day, kids have a lot of things that can influence them, and you can try to, cut down what your kid is influenced by. But your kids go to school with a bunch of other kids, and a lot of them kids don't have to answer their parents at all. Let's keep it real. A lot of black women have decided to raise children without men. Therefore, you're going to have children at schools who don't have to check in with nobody. That's just what it is. They don't have to answer to anybody. So that's going to be a different type of influence that they're going to have on your daughter. All right. See, back in the day, you at least expected that they would have to check in with somebody at some point. They might get away with stuff. They might be a little better than the other kids, but at some point in time, you expected they were going to have to check in with somebody. Nowadays, now you could be a small kid. You can go start school at preschool or kindergarten, and you might be dealing with kids your entire scholastic career and deal with a bunch of kids that don't check into anybody. Matter of fact, it could be so bad that if you try to say something to them, they gonna go get a parent to help them bully you. They don't want the teacher saying nothing to the kids nowadays. They've been stopped. The corporate punishment, when teachers used to be able to hit students, that been stopped. Now you can't even say nothing to the students the way I hear it, You can't even really say nothing to them. And if you do say something to the student, you got to be extra sensitive, and you got to make sure you use the right words, or guess what? Their parents are going to show up to the school looking for you. And really just be their mama. It be their single mama who be on some emotional dumb stuff, who don't want nobody to be able to say nothing to their kids, but, and it's amazing how black women don't want nobody to say anything to their kids, but somehow they want to get credit for kids being raised well, as if they had anything to do with it. Okay. And then they say, well, these kids ain't raised properly, as if they didn't have just about everything to do with that. They crazy. They crazy. They do some crazy stuff sometimes. All right. But this is America. They got a right to do stupid stuff. That's the way it goes in this country. They still have a right to do stupid stuff. All right. Now, let me ask y'all. I just put the link in again into the chat. Are y'all seeing that link? Because I see I see it somewhat on one device, and then I don't see it on my other device. Are y'all seeing that link? Because I just tried to drop it again. I even reset a phone and then tried to drop it again. Okay. Great Back Reset says no. Now, I'm trying to be fair about this and get some men up here with some daughters so I can be fair without saying too much. I'm trying to make this fair. Okay. I am. The system is making it difficult on me. Okay. The system is making it difficult. I'm trying to be fair. All right. That's real talk. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Afro Merchant though. Shout out to Afro Merchant. I appreciate you, my brother. He says, bringing back the saying knuckleheads. Long live the habitual line steppers. Hey, that's a good one to me. It's definitely a good one to me. And you can use that in a lot of ways. And you ain't got to explain it. It's like, you know, it's easy. It's right there, you know. Shout out to Mr. Sugar to you. Mr. Sugar to you hit me with the blame and the man, it ain't me, bro. What you want me to do? Okay. It ain't me. I'm dropping the link. Okay, what you want me to do, man? I can't I'm supposed to pretend I'm doing it. Is that what we on, brother? I can't, you know, I ain't gonna act like I'm doing it. Okay. I'm dropping it. I see it right there now. Now I do know something is up because I can't even pin it at the top at the moment. I don't know what the heck going on around these parts, but I'm trying to pin it at the top. You just talking about how you go. Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. And during the middle of a show. Yeah. Great Black Reset trying to back him up. Man, I'm trying to get the link out there for you, and that's how you doing down there, brother. That's how you doing me. Okay. Look, man, white people, I get it, y'all. So let me tell y'all something. Okay, the Roger Report Live is the greatest show on social media. So it makes total sense in the world to me that eventually the system is gonna try to stop me from doing what I'm doing over here. They say, you know what, we ain't gonna even let Roger get his guest. All right. And I don't do too many shows where I really need a guest, you know, but to be fair, on this particular show, to me, I should put a guest up. You know what I'm saying? I should get guests, you know what I'm saying, for a show like this particular one. All right. So I don't know if, look, man, the sisters don't want y'all up here. Okay. Why you looking at me? I know what you're doing. You're looking at me. But I'm here. The sisters don't want y'all. This what this mean, y'all. That's what's going on, okay? And I'm saying that, shout out to Great Black Reset. He talking about the white man is keeping Roger proposing his link. Look, man, I'm up here doing my thing. It don't want you up here, apparently. That's what I'm trying to say. It's cool with me, but it ain't necessarily cool with you. Because in a minute, I'm just about to go and do the show alone. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm gonna move. Okay, that's how I'm gonna move. All right, if absolutely necessary. Like I said, man, I didn't reset the phone, so I'm trying to make sure everything is all good. But they tripping, y'all. They tripping. I see it coming up, but when I post it, I see it on mine. I just don't see it. You know, when I don't see it in the public chat when I'm on the on one version, I don't see it. The other version, I do see it. So I guess they're trying to make me believe that the link is posted when it's not posted. I guess that's what the attempt was. We gonna make Roger believe it's there, even though it ain't there. Okay, we gonna make Roger believe it's there, even though it ain't there. So yeah, obviously something deliberate is going on. And you know what? Well, hopefully I'm gonna say hopefully nothing deliberate is going on. Okay, I ain't gonna really make too many comments about the system. I kind of leave them alone because I see what they be on sometimes. And they may just be getting on it again. So I'm going to apologize for the difficulties that they are creating in this particular situation. But maybe it's just a mistake. Maybe it's going to clear up in a minute or two. All right. But I'm gonna say this. Go on getting into it because I can't wait for the system to act right. I got to go and do my thing. Look, man. Great Black Reader said the Black Women Coalition has boycotted the link. Hey man, you never know. You never know. Sometimes folks don't want the truth to get out, man. Sometimes folks don't want the truth to get out. Now I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna have to just do it without y'all for now. It is what it is. All right. I will get one down there as quickly as they would allow me to. That's what I'm gonna tell y'all. I will drop that link as quickly as they will allow me to. But right now, it's definitely doing something. All right. So I'm gonna reset my device again and see if that helps. And I'm gonna try to get it back out there one more again. All right. Now, but when it comes down to it, man, I don't think a wife and a daughter, you know, like I said, I do understand there'll be certain things they both have to adhere to because they both should be adhering to the man that's in the house. Okay. Now, this is the thing. That man in the house is going to have a great impact on them because they have to answer to that man. All right. I personally am very much not surprised that there's kids basically flunking out and there's a bunch of kids who cannot get their grades up and they're not performing at proper grade levels. I'm not surprised by that at all. Why? Because I've told y'all time and time again, collectively, I don't think Black women even love their children. All right. And if you don't love your children, are you going to make them do well in school? I don't think you will. Now, I was told that I had to do well in school. You know, way back in the grammar school days, I was told I had to do well in school. Now, I talked to my mom about this within the last year or two, maybe. I know I'm a guesstimate and say no more than 3 years ago. I remember bringing this up, we was talking about school or something. I said something about what I was told when I was a kid. My mama didn't even remember telling me this, y'all. But my mama told me I had to get A's. All right. I'm a little kid. All right. I'm in the Chicago public school system. I don't remember why it even came up, but it was something going on about grades. Now I'm a little kid at this point, y'all. I'm a very small child. All right. But we talking about grades. And my mama said something about getting A's. And I used to be in grammar school, really getting A's simply because I was told to get A's. You know, I remember somebody asking about, I ain't gonna say if it was me for sure, but somebody said something about why I got to get A's. I remember something about you ain't got no job. You barely got chores around here. You ain't got no reason not to get an A. Okay? You ain't got nothing up. I was told you ain't got nothing better to do than get A's. I don't care about what other kids got to do. I care about what you got to do. And you basically don't have nothing better to do than get A's. So I was out there really a little kid in school getting A's because my mama told me to get A's. Now, when it came to my parents, I will say this. They backed each other up when it came to something that they told us. I have never actually seen my parents really argue like that, not as a child. Okay, they kind of backed each other up. So if my dad said something, usually my mama gonna have his back. If my mama said something, my dad would usually have her back. They didn't really do stuff in front of us. So now my mama done told me this crazy thing about, you got to get A's because you ain't got nothing better to do than to get A's. Basically, I had to take that as gospel because once she say that, I can't go to my dad and get something different, He goes, well, if that's what she told you, that's what she told you. That's the type of answer I'm expecting. Okay. So yeah, I was really out there. Now I would love to tell y'all I was this smart little kid that was just saw all this potential in the world. I had all this great understanding about stuff and I was a genius or something like that. I was mature for my age or whatever. I paint that picture, but it ain't true. I was simply getting A's to avoid getting whoopings. Real talk. That's how I started getting AIDS. I'm trying to avoid getting in trouble. That's what it really was. Okay. Now, maybe other folks, they get on a good scholastic journey for better reasons. I was avoiding whoopings, and I'm telling you, my mama forgot she even said this to me. But that's what it was, man. I was out there getting AIDS trying to save my bacon. Real talk. Shout out to Gold P. He said, man, what's happening? Money for the plate. Hey, appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. Okay. Hey, I appreciate you, serious Roger. He said, good incentive, Roger. Yeah, I would love to say I kind of understood or something like that, or I planned on being this perfectly great person even as a child, or I grew up thinking I'm going to be a doctor or lawyer or whatever. No. I was out there getting A's because I ain't want to face that belt. I didn't want to face that switch, that ironing cord, whatever was going to come up. I'm trying to avoid all that type of stuff. So no, I wasn't no quote unquote bright little kid because I just took to schoolwork. Like, no, I wasn't trying to face nobody. But at the end, I wasn't trying to face the wrath of my mother and father. That's really what it was. Now, I understand why kids are not getting good grades now or not doing well in school now, because who they answer to. You go to school, you get D's and F's all day long. You gonna come home, and who you gonna check in with? Your mama? No, a lot of mothers don't care. I'm gonna say shout out to I'm gonna say the better mothers. Shout out to the better mothers that would at least tell their kids to do well in school. But realistically, the average mother just don't care. So as a child, you can bring home what you want to bring home. Okay? That's just the name of the game. So now, if you have a man in the household, a man does present certain expectations on a wife and children. So things are going to be different. Okay? Shout out to you, serious Rob. And that's what it was, brother. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was, man. Yeah, and sometimes that's why I say, y'all, as people, we gotta remember, anytime you talk to children, you can say something powerful to a child that you don't even remember you said it. But you can make great impact on a child's life by saying something that you forgot. Now, in this situation, it happened to be my mother. And like I said, she didn't remember telling me this when I talked about it with her, but I mean, my mother older though, are you going to remember everything you told your kids when you was raising them? And your kids been grown for decades, you ain't going to remember every single thing you told them, but yeah, she just didn't remember it all, But I remembered, that's for sure. I remembered, and I took it seriously. So I did what I had to do, okay? In my mind, you couldn't convince me that going home with a B and C is going to be smooth for me. You couldn't convince me of that. I knew what to do. All right. Now, of course, if you marry a woman, you're going to have expectation that she be smart. Who wants a woman that comes off as dumb? You're going to have an expectation of intelligence. You're going to have an expectation that she can represent you well from a public scene. But your daughter, I think you probably have more of an expectation because you set the tone for who she's supposed to be. And if she can't do well enough, you can really put some consequences on your daughter that usually you might not have to fight as much about when it comes to your wife, because you can punish your daughter. Okay. You can punish your daughter, and people accept that you can punish your daughter. Now, a lot of people don't like parents actually parenting their children anymore, and they make a lot of excuses. But at the end of the day, you can pretty much punish your daughter, but I mean, in certain ways. Now, if you actually hit your daughter, nowadays, people gonna act like you stabbed the president in the heart. That's how people act if you hit your daughter, because they act that way if you hit kids at all. But their thought process of hitting hitting an adult versus hitting your own daughter is, I mean, it's crazy if you ask me, because they've definitely been trying to convince people not to raise their children. I guess black women just take to it better than others. But as a man, you know, you may look some kind of way when your daughter is beyond an age of like a small spanking. Now, I think people will accept it if, you know, if your daughter, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years old and you spank her, you know what I'm saying, give her a tap or whatever on the butt of the hand or whatever. I think people are much better about that. But when the girl gets a little older, if you hit your daughter, people act like you done really committed some heinous crime. Okay? They'll be ready to report you because you hit your daughter. That's just real life. Now, is it the same if you hit a woman? Let's think about that. It just popped in my head, but is it the same thing if you hit a woman? If you hit a woman, are people gonna let that go? You know what? Being realistic, the vast majority of people, no, they wouldn't be cool with that either. Now, I think if it's a daughter, you'll have more people that's somewhat willing to let it go or look the other way than if it's an adult. If you hit your woman, I don't know, man. People ready to fight you right then and there. Your daughter, they might report you. You hit your woman, they ready to fight you. Okay? I mean, being realistic, so I guess there's a higher expectation on a woman than it is even for a child. There's a much higher expectation because you hit your daughter, they might report you. Okay? They probably gonna report you. They hit your daughter in public where they can see it. But if it's your woman, men would literally be ready to fight. And let's keep it real. Some would pull out a gun and shoot you over. Okay? Being realistic, they'll pull out a gun and shoot you over. So I guess the expectation of a wife is a much, much higher expectation than a daughter. But that's how people get down. All right? It sounds dumb. It sounds crazy. But we know this to be a very real thing. Okay? Women have said stuff that men have done. And then a family will get together and start looking for you. Okay, a family will get together and start looking for you. Why does that happen? I do not know. All right, let me see something, y'all, because this is getting annoying. I'm trying to drop that link. I'm finna just type the word hello in there, and let's just see if it pops up, y'all. All right, I just typed the word hello in the chat, y'all, and now I see it on the other device. So y'all can see the hello, but you can't see the link when I drop it. Now I got the link right above the hello. Okay. I literally got the link right above the hello. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. All right. Well, y'all, I told y'all before, I personally do not believe in coincidence. Okay. I don't believe in coincidence. Sometimes people just being slick. Okay. Sometimes people are just being slick. All right. But you know what? It depends on y'all. If you really want to come on, I guess you got to work for it. Okay. You're going to have to work for it. So I know what I'm going to do I'm going to help the situation out, y'all. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a banner with the link. All right. I'm going to make a banner with the link. If you want to join the panel, you're going to have to type this in your phone yourself. Okay. That's what makes sense. Okay. So the people who really want to come up, you're going to have to do what you got to do. Now I wonder if I type it in, would that even work? That's going to be it. If I type it in, would that even work? Or would they just, well, we'll see. Okay. Chef Mike said, I will see if I can post it. If you can, definitely do so, brother. If you can. I'm trying on my end, y'all. I'm trying on my end. But you know, the system is the system, so And I don't control that. It is what it is. But I'm going to do my part. All right. You know, there's a whole lot to stop Roger, man. They be trying to stop Roger. You know what? I ain't even mad. I guess if I was on the other side of things, I want to stop me too. You know, if I was on the other side of things, I guess I would want to stop me too. You know, it is what it is. Boom. All right. Now, y'all, that's what the link is. So you could type it in yourself if you want to, but that's what the link is. All right. So you can do what you want with that. As a matter of fact, I'll have that go under the screen. I'm gonna put that on the thing. I forgot how to do it. Now let me think for a second. Let me think for a second, so I can remember how to do this. I'm gonna have it scrolling. Okay, so people can still be seeing. So now I got it scrolling, y'all. That's what it is. All right. So if you really want to come up, now you got a way to do it. All right. So this type of stuff, they Great Black Reese, you ain't no good, brother. Shout out to Landon. He say, Mr. Ofe Alabama says your link is denied. Shout out to you, Chef. Shout out to you, Chef. Appreciate you, brother. All right. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate it. I'm gonna see if I can pin that. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pin that at the top. You know, there we go. Boom. There we go. All right. Uh-oh. Hold on. Did that man just say the link doesn't work? Okay. What I put up don't work? Okay. Is that what we saying? What I put up don't work? All right. Well, I obviously Great Black Reset got something to say. He's saying nonsense in the chat, so he might as well come up. Now I see y'all saying the link doesn't work. So let me go double check again to make sure I'm putting out the right address. All right. Boy, these folks, boy, I guess they be on something, boy. I'm double checking. That's definitely what I'm seeing. Ain't this about nothing? Boom. This is interesting. This is interesting. Looks like I gave y'all the right one. It definitely looks that way. Boom. Boom. I just tried to drop it again. And all it gives me is the now Gil be saying copy paste the link directly. Gil, that's what I've been doing. And every time I do that, that's what y'all can't see. I see how it's not popping up in the chat. Okay. When I copy and paste the link, which is what I normally do, it will not show it to y'all in the chat. All right. That's what That's what's going on, literally. It will not show it to y'all in the chat. Okay. Well, I'm gonna type it out myself, and so I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna type it out in the chat myself. Shout out to Inspired You Broadcast. He said it is Friday the 13th. You know what? Well, I say I don't believe in coincidence like that. But I don't think the fact that it's Friday the 13th gonna have anything. I don't think that is really. I don't think Friday the 13th got that type of weight behind it. Okay, I don't think Friday the 13th got that type of weight behind it. But again, y'all, if y'all can, hold on. I'm gonna try this one more time like this. Well, I'm trying to type it directly into the chat myself. I'm not copying and pasting the link. I'm literally going back to it, and I'm just gonna type it out myself. I'm gonna make sure I get this stuff right. All right, and then if y'all can see that, because it ain't copying and pasting that link, then y'all got something to work with, But I swear I put the right one. Just scrolling across the screen. I swear I did that, but I'm doing this again, slow and easy, just to make sure I don't mess it up. Okay. Because I'm thinking maybe I mistyped something. It could be something just that simple. I mistyped something and then we get a problem. All right. So I'm going slow, knocking this out, double checking, make sure everything's good. Okay. Boom. Now, can y'all see that now? Oh, YouTube rejected your comment. This usually means they think it's spam. Yeah, that's what I okay. All right. Okay. I see what they own. All right. So there's an answer to all kinds of stuff, all right? So y'all can't see that one. So let me try to do that one more time. But I know how to make a little change here and there. I know how to make a little change here and there. All right. So this is what we're gonna do, y'all. I'm typing it out again, but I'm leaving some spaces in it. I'm leaving some spaces. So when you put it in, no spaces, y'all. I'm putting spaces there, so it won't come up the same way. So it won't come up as spam. Okay. That's what I'm doing. And I'm making sure I'm carefully doing this again to make sure I get every single thing correct. Yeah, this could. I wonder, man. I wonder. Yeah, and no, I don't think this has anything to do with StreamYard. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not determining what I can and can't put up. They ain't in control of that. You know what I'm saying? They're not in control of that. At least that's what I would assume. But who knows? All right, boom. So there it is, y'all. There it is. And boom, I couldn't do it like that either. Ain't that about nothing? Couldn't do it like that either. All right, let me. Okay, yeah. You know what? I think maybe the one scrolling at the top is wrong. So let me just do that one again. Boy, I tell you, they make it hard on the brother sometimes, y'all. They make it hard on the brother sometimes. So let me double check that. Boom, boom, boom. Because I probably just made a small mistake in there somewhere. That's probably all it is. I probably made a small mistake in there somewhere. Yeah, I think I see something wrong. There we go. I think I see something wrong right there. So let me redo that. Okay. Boom. All right, yeah. So the one I had scrolling, There was something missing. I just fixed it. So now what I'm gonna scroll at the bottom of the screen should be good to go now. Should be good to go now. So there it is, y'all. There you go. There's your link. I do apologize about this, y'all. I do apologize about that. I guess they coming at me sideways nowadays. They coming at me sideways, all right? But as they say, the show must go on. The show must go on. And you know, I think this is probably an important subject that needs to be briefed. So I'm going to say shout out to Jado, because this is all from Jado, y'all. This is all from Jado. So, you know, shout out to that brother. You know, because you're going to have certain expectations when it comes to a daughter, but you're going to have different expectations when it comes to a wife. Now, do you expect your wife to make sure she does do some cooking and cleaning for you? I think absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. When your daughter gets older, because she has to be old enough to do it, is she supposed to be doing some cooking and cleaning? Absolutely. You know, which I think is problematic because fathers are not in the home. So now you have girls that are growing up and they don't even know how to cook, which is crazy if you ask me. I don't know how you grow up and you don't know how to cook. Shout out to Black Guru Strikes. I see he just put it in the chat because, you know, obviously they ain't going to let me do it. Okay. Shout out to No Placeholder, man. See, now we taking shots. He say watching you troubleshoot is painful, Roger. Well, you know what? I don't expect to have to troubleshoot anything when the show starts. But hey, you know, I didn't know this would be the Friday that these people was gonna have something fun. So guess what? I know better for Monday, y'all. I know better for Monday. I know better for Monday. Real talk, okay? I ain't expect them to have it out for me, man. I ain't expect them to have it out for me. But, you know, sometimes, you know, that's how stuff go, okay? Sometimes that's how stuff go. Shout out to Darth Vader has entered the building. What's good, my brother? What's good, my brother?
Roger, you got to stop buying your electronics from Temu, man. This got to stop. It's got to stop, bro.
So that's what we doing.
This is what we doing today, man.
Man ran into a small problem, and that's what we gonna do. I got people out in the super chat doing it. Then you come up on the panel doing it. That's what we doing.
Immediately. I'm throwing chairs and everything. Oh no, I think Jado hit on a concept yesterday that's very important. We are missing fathers being in the home, and so fathers not being in the home. Not only are the boys not seeing how to be men properly, the girls are not seeing leadership properly. You know, they're not interacting with their fathers and understanding what the expectations are. They're not seeing their mothers being wise and understanding what the expectations are. It's not just getting verbal instructions, it's also seeing how those things are carried out and mimicking them. Our children mimic us. They mimic the things that we do for good, bad, or indifferent. And these girls are not seeing what to mimic as wise. And that's why we have terrible girlfriends and terrible wives out here now. They're coming to you with no experience, none whatsoever. From the cooking to the cleaning. I've seen a 4-year-old little girl learn how to cook a lasagna. I've seen that with my own 2 eyes. Get in there with her auntie and her grandma and clean up the kitchen and all that kinds of stuff. You know, I've seen that in a little Hispanic girl. They're getting examples of husbands and wives and family members working together, and they're falling in line with what they're supposed to do to learn how to become wives earlier in lives, which is why they end up making better wives. So we do need examples in the black community, but we need husbands and wives to get married before they start having children.
Yeah.
So we're missing that. We're missing that now. And when it comes to us as men, when you get these women from their homes, you're going to have to groom them in a fashion to become become a wife because you got to groom her to become your wife. So you do kind of take a fathering role to her in a certain way because she's supposed to be looking at the world through your lens, if that makes any sense.
I mean, it does make some sense. It actually does make some sense. Okay,
Yeah. So
are you all good or?
I'm all good for now. It'll be a continued conversation. I don't want to go on a monologue. If anybody else comes up, we definitely want to give them a
Well,
chance to come
well,
with their
Black Uru
perspective.
is here. That's why I asked. Black Uru is here. So
Oh, I'm
I,
definitely giving away. That's my stepdaddy right there, man. That's my stepdaddy.
you know what? Just because of the problems I was having earlier, I'm gonna let the joke go. I'm gonna let this is a joke. That dude don't want you, man.
He ain't got no choice. He ain't got no choice. I'm moving in and I ain't moving out.
All right, Blackaroo, you have the flow, my brother. You have the flow. And I'm gonna say shout out to Jado. I expect you to see you at some point in time, brother, if you can make it. Since this whole thing started with you, Jado. This whole thing started with you. Go ahead, Blackaroo. Go ahead.
Thank you, Roger. I hope you are doing well. Finally, I guess we're clearing up a little technical issue this morning. Hope you, Reset, and Chef, and folks and public chat are doing well this Friday.
Hold on, Blackaroo, you sound very choppy to me. Are y'all? Is he sounding that way to y'all?
Yeah, it's like every other word.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, maybe let me drop down and back up. I caught a bit over. I'll be back up. Yeah.
All right, we got Chef Mike here. So Chef Mike, glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you. You can go ahead and get it in, and we'll get him in after you if he's got his stuff resolved by that point. Great to see you, though.
Hey, well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to find yourself on this Friday, the 13th. What's going on, Roger? Great Black Reset, what's going on with you, sir? I trust all is well wherever you are.
I'm doing well, man. I'm up here with you, and my day just got better.
Hey, I'm gonna just tell you, quit trying to get Black Uru in trouble, man. Talking about he your stepdaddy. Quit, man. Dear. Look. Don't break up a happy home, okay? Don't break up a happy home starting that nonsense. All right?
He the daddy I needed, and I'm the son he never had. We trying to make this work.
Man, stop talking. Look. I ain't gonna take your soup. I'm gonna take your invitation to the cookout. You just sit over there. No, but seriously. And today, Roger, I won't go over my 2 minutes so that you don't call me out like you did yesterday, sir. I promise I will stick to the time limit of a 2-minute open. We're talking about daughters and wives, okay? You really have to understand that the women really in my mind, let me say it like that. Let me start it off like that. In my mind, the women really don't have anything to do with it if you want it done right. I will go to my future wife's father and say, sir, I would like to marry your daughter. And I would go to him because I know the type of man that he is. I know the type of house that he runs. I see his wife in the community. I see his wife taking care of him. And I know the apple does not fall far from the tree in most cases. Okay? So I'm going to go to him and ask him for his daughter's hand in marriage because I have a reasonable amount of expectation that I can expect.
Excuse me. Sorry to break you up, y'all. I gotta tend to something very important for a few minutes here. I'm gonna go as quick as I can, get this out the way, but I can't disregard what's going on right now. I got an extremely important phone call that I have to deal with. So y'all got it for now, okay? I'll be right back as quick as I can, but y'all got it for now.
Take your time,
you can continue, brother. Appreciate you.
All right. Yeah, man. Take your time. We understand things happen. But I would go to that man because I would have a reasonable expectation that the fruit of of him and his wife would be similar and have similar characteristics, similar beliefs that they have. So I'm gonna ask him, and then when it is what I expect, I'm going to go back to him and tell him this is what I expected, and I want to thank you, sir. If it's not what I expect, I'm gonna go back to him and say, sir, um, I don't know, but I was led to believe that I was gonna get A, but I got B. And he and I would have that conversation because
Mm-hmm.
my expectations are set straight up. If you know your daughter ain't no good, tell me that from the beginning. Hmm. Because see, a
Sir.
father knows. A father knows because he sees his daughter's actions. A father knows that his daughter's gonna give him a headache when he see her really want that mini skirt because all of her friends got it. A father
Sir.
knows these things because a father recognizes a hoe. Because your father didn't choose your mama, but he chose your mama because she wasn't the hoe. Hmm. Make no mistake about it. We don't marry the hoe. Your father chose your mother because she wasn't the hoe. So you choose a daughter from that union because you had a reasonable expectation that she won't be. No guarantees, but then you have a path back to her father to say, hey, what happened? And then you have to do that same thing with your daughter. Those same things, that same mode. No, baby, this is not what's gonna get you married. And if this is what you want, let me show you exactly what that world looks like. Bottom line. I'm gonna end my
Yo, I,
statement there because Black Uru just came back up, and I definitely want to yield the floor and hear what the elder has to say.
you there, Black Guru?
Yeah, yeah. Am I coming in okay now, or am I still
Much,
choppy?
Oh,
much
you crystal
better.
clear right now, elder. You clear, crystal clear.
All right, all right. Glad to hear that. All right, I hope you gentlemen are doing well. Um, I I and I didn't know it at the time, but I was blessed to marry a daddy's girl. You know, I didn't really know it, and initially I was I was a little bit perturbed by it because her father died before she and I got together. So he was and still is to some degree sort of a mythical figure in our lives, and he was a great man apparently for several different reasons, a very accomplished man, but also very loving and doting father and husband. And so, what that imprinted upon my wife and her sisters was a default respect and regard and reverence for fathers, for husbands, for men. Uh, my In addition to my father-in-law, my wife also had uh, a wonderful relationship with her grandfather, her father's father, and even after he sadly he survived his son's passing. He lived longer than his son and his brother. He had a brother, or my wife's uncle, and they were, of course, all everybody. They've all passed on now, but all the women were widowed, and sadly, with the exception of my wife's uncle, widow, they all lived until death do you part. That's all my wife's family. That's what all they know. So the pattern. So you have women who have reverence for men, and honored those marriages until death do you part. It made a lot of things very easy for me as both a husband and a father. In fact, looking back, all I had to do was not fuck some things up, which unfortunately in the beginning I kind of did, but nothing too seriously that I couldn't clean up. And those were mostly because, unlike my wife, I was from a broken home. So there were things I didn't know as acutely to do or were not as disciplined in. So I was very fortunate. Now, I'm saying this to say I don't really have much of any sort of advice for what you all can do in this current hellscape we call the Black American community. I don't know how salvageable it is. I mean, if you're 3 generations into ain't nobody ever been married and living with nobody and raising them, a lot of things with my daughters, all I had to do was change the tone of my voice or give them a little silent treatment here and there. I didn't have a lot of heavy lifting with raising my daughters because they were raised by a woman and aunts and grandmothers and great grandmothers who had a default reverence for men. So that's what I know. That's my experience. I don't know what you do in this environment with these women. I don't know if there's anything you can do with them. The rot is too deep and too wide and varied. So, I mean, when I look at the picture of these women here on the image here, and I just see, 2 generations of chicks that's trying to get it. I mean, I don't really see wives. I don't see, matriarchs of multi-generations of accomplished, productive families. I see, old city girl and young city girl.
Going after the same
So
man.
I don't know what you do with this. I don't know what advice there is for this. The pain that would have to be brought to bear against them in order for them to be viable. I mean, you'd be violating constitutional law, statutory law, judicial precedent, federal regulations, the things you would have to do to get them right. You'd have to risk your freedom and even perhaps your life to achieve. I know this is a sobering message, and I didn't intend necessarily for it to be that sobering. I couldn't help but contrast my own personal experience, which goes back, close to 35 years now, and contrast it very starkly with what you all are faced with today. So maybe that's why I kind of took a dark turn. Please forgive me.
No, Black Uru, I don't think it's to be forgiven. I think it's actually quite necessary because these days everything can be, relegated to a joke. Everybody can find the fun in it. And it's not very often that we get a conversation where it is a sobering conversation going, okay, listen, old age comes to all of us. Aches and pains come to all of us. Getting tired of doing it gonna come to all of us. You gonna either do it by yourself for the rest of your life, or you gonna do it with somebody. Make smart decisions now. Because here's the thing, Black Uru. At the end of the day, you and I ain't got to go through that headache. We gonna sit back, we gonna watch, but we ain't got to go through that headache. And what we what we gonna think in our mind, but we may or may not say it. We told y'all. Y'all don't want to listen.
Yeah,
Y'all didn't believe grits was
y'all can
groceries.
get y'all can get y'all popcorn ready. It's gonna be a show. It's going.
But see, here's the
It's going.
thing. It's not just going to be a show because the sobering fact is we're going to be looking at our daughters, our granddaughters, our sons, our grandsons, our nieces, our nephews. Listen, society is made up of families. These people gonna be related to us, and we're gonna have to sit back and watch them and hope and trust that they will figure out the life that is coming to them. And I say that because we don't know everything that they will have to face the same way my grandfather could never have prepared me for 2026.
Right.
What
Well,
he knew in his lifetime, he had no concept of what I would have to face now. Same way, we have no true concept of what our children and grandchildren will have to face. Our job is to prepare them as best as we can for a world that we believe and trust they will be able to survive.
there are some universal truths, and Black Guru touched on something important. His daughter is like the third generation of femininity. Or maybe even further back than that. Um, Whereas you had women that were married and widowed, and then his wife that's married, and they're going to live until death do us part. And his daughters are a third generation of that. So there is a well of femininity there. What we're discussing with this current generation is there's a lack of the well of femininity. So
You know
Uru
why?
only had to, yeah, real quick. Uru only had to make small adjustments with his daughters. You have to make large adjustments with this well, with this dry well, and that's the difficult thing. And I think personally, and this is and I want to know what you guys think. I think men today, young men today, when they go into relationship with these women, because they're gonna date them and they are gonna marry them, regardless of what we think. It might not be in the greater numbers as we had before. They have to start with um, submission and obedience. You have to ask for that up front. Like, hey, listen, if you want to be with me, I need 100% submission and 100% obedience. And if you trust me, I can get us in a good place. But if you don't trust me, let me go and find somebody else that will. I think that's where they're going to have to start because you don't have a foundation. What do you think?
Well, it's an enormous task because uh, not only have they been ill-bred for their own purposes as women, as potential mothers and wives, but they've also been bred to by default not trust you in particular because you are an ADOS man, an FBA man.
Hmm.
So by default, you're not trusted by virtue of your particular existence. So you're saying to not only trust but to submit. I mean, I don't know how you even create an environment in which that's going to be viable for the vast majority of black men who choose to marry any of them.
Well, I think there.
And
I,
as well, let me add
Go ahead.
to this. As was my observation in the early part of my life, it was the elder women who compelled the younger women to do right. It wasn't the men. The men did not ride roughshod over men were basically came in when in shit hit the fan scenarios most. But men weren't raising daughters to day. They were They were there when there was some real problems had to be handled. But the day to day, how she dressed, when she is or is not supposed to wear makeup, and a lot of those sort of basic kind of things, those are all governed by women. Well, you have none of that infrastructure now. You have none of
Right.
that infrastructure now. So, you're asking the most vulnerable men in many ways to do something that no other group of men have had to do, at least not in any sort of societal context that I can refer to.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think the elder women, and when I say the elder women of today, the grandmothers of today, which are in their 30s and early 40s, I don't think they're going to agree um, with anything that's feminine these days for the most part. So the men are going to have to lead these women back to femininity because they're not going to go willfully. And when you find a woman that does, because they do desire relationships and they do desire marriage, they're just displaying themselves poorly. But when they find someone that they're willing to kind of settle down with, so to speak, I think the negotiating point, the starting point, has to be shocking. You can't ease yourself into this thing with them. We used to could do that when it was a different type of woman. They're not getting the same type of quality we were getting back then. So you have to start at a point where say, hey, I know your life has been this, that, and the other because they're coming from all various different things. No fathers, broken homes, all different manner of things that have happened in these households that didn't used to happen in mass. And I think if you're gonna couple yourself with these women, in spite of everything going on, some of them got children and all this other kinds of stuff. You just got to look at them and say, hey, look, you're just going to have to admit that your life is not what you wanted it to be, that feminism lied to you, and all these other things that you thought were going to happen didn't pan out. And in order, if you want me to step into your life and help you rectify this, I need those two things. That's where we're going to have to start, or you're going to have to finish this thing on your own.
Well,
I think that's where black men
okay.
is going to have to be.
Well, that's an opinion, but we just had usual business come up and join the panel, and we want to wait for him to make his opening statement, give him his 2 minute uninterrupted opening statement. So, usual
The,
business, please. You got the
the
mic, brother.
prince, the prince of Uganda.
Hey, can y'all hear me? I just want to say hello to the panel and to
Loud and clear. Loud and clear.
much. Black men have worked miracles, but y'all are not gods. Ever, I've seen a lot of miracles in my life, but I've never seen a hoe turn into a housewife. Again, I am in my long years of life. I'm on like 35, but I'm dreaming of the world to see one group of men on this planet who have more power than us in a variety of different things turn whores into housewives. If Black American men want to quote unquote juggle with chainsaws, as I like to say, they're chainsaws. But don't be confused when you got half a torso, half an arm, and half a leg left. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
He most in the career room.
So we out here juggling
Yeah, look, I mean
chainsaws according
that's
to
a valid.
usual business. Yeah.
I mean that it really. I mean that's actually kind of making light of the severity of the task, because you really. I mean, with every generation that goes by, the more dangerous it is to commit yourself to them. I often witness young women say things and speculate upon things that are kind of horrifying to me. in between trying to scam men out of stuff and the sexual behavior, the STD rates, publicly bragging about how many, having almost a dozen abortions. Um, Horrifying things to me. And they're like casual to, your 20 something black woman today. So, I mean, juggling chainsaws, you might rather do that.
I agree.
True, true, true.
I agree.
Looks like we have another panelist. I can't see the name that he's going by, but I definitely recognize the icon, so I know who you are, brother. Go ahead and jump in here and get your opening statement. I'm sorry I can't read your name because I'm on a smaller screen.
The name is Uru, the hope, the killer of hope.
Oh man. Oh no. I could,
The
you know what?
definite
I
killer.
could like Chef, I couldn't see the name either, so I wasn't prepared for that.
So,
Go ahead.
Go
Uru,
ahead,
Uru,
killer.
Uru out here killing the hope for everybody. He don't want me to do it. Uru, leave me some scraps, man. I want to kill some too, man. And
It's funny. It was not my intent to go that dark, Joe. It really wasn't. Sometimes old man gets going and no telling what direction it might end up in.
you've been killing hope for a while now. I've been noticing. Like Jesus Christ, man. I'm supposed to be the one who do it. But every time I hear men talking about wives and things like that, I want to come to the table and defecate on them. Because I'm telling them they don't make wives here anymore. All you got is a bunch of hoes. Just grab you a hoe and make the best life you can, or just grab your passport and go get you some jungle coochie in Africa. Go straight to the jungle where they don't got no electricity, no lights, no cell phone, nothing, and you stay there. But them Negroes, they saw their parents, they want to emulate that. Them Negroes are crying for love. They're dying, they're thirsting over love. They want to love like their daddy had with mommy. But let me remind you, your mama had another man's ball sack in her mouth at some point, and that man wasn't your dad. Your mama, matter of fact, let me tell you something. You probably not even your daddy's son. Is that the type of love that you want? You want somebody to love you like that? So much so that they have somebody else nut in their mouth, come to kiss you afterwards? Hmm? Your mama works at a warehouse, jumping up and down somebody's pole while your daddy's not around. Is that the type of love that you want? Hmm? Your mama probably gave your daddy a couple of STIs a few times. He never mentioned that part because men are stoic. He don't want to make mama look bad, but he knows your dad, your brother is not your daddy's son, and he knows that's the price of love. Is that the price that you're willing to pay to be with one of them? Hmm? Thank you.
And see, that right there, that is a very real experience of the younger generation. That's not my experience. That's not Black U's experience, but that is a very real experience for this younger generation. What do you do? I just want to throw this out there. There was a joke running back in the day amongst female comedians. They said, you got to have five men to create the one perfect man. Well, let's flip it. Take five of them and see if you can't create the perfect wife. Get a little bit from each one of them. Now, however many you need, that's on you. Black Uru might need two.
I
Maybe Black Reset might
I don't
need
think you
four.
want
I'm
five
just
women
saying.
from the states, man.
Listen, I don't know if you need a butcher, a baker, or a candlestick maker, but whatever it is you need to make your house whole, do that. We got a couple of other brothers and sisters came up on the panel, and we want to make room for them. I see Inspired Truth has come up, and Jado has come up. Well, Jado, you have been requested to come up, so I'm going to ask you to go ahead and give your opening statement now, sir, and then we will follow that with Inspired Truth.
What's going on, Chef? What's going on, fellas? Hope y'all doing good, man. Everybody in the chat, replay gang. I didn't know that request was made. I kind of apologize. I wish I would have heard the earlier part of the show or whatever. But yeah. So I guess I'll go here, man. When I speak, as I have 3 daughters, man, and I'm pretty sure you other the fathers on the panel, chat and whatever, have experienced this too. You get a unique perspective when you get to observe a child coming up and they possess some of your characteristics. They possess some of the mother's characteristics, and they've developed their own stuff. And if you add with, the current society at the time that they're being raised, they're picking up stuff from that. So you get to step out the forest really and look at the tree individually, man. And I'm blessed to have done that, man. So I guess I'm gonna get a little personal, man. My daughter I'm a grandfather, man, a young grandfather. I guess, and maybe not by today's standards, but from yesterday's standards, a very, very young grandfather, man. I was devastated when I found out she was pregnant. I shouldn't have been, but I was, and I came down pretty hard on her. And we were rather estranged for quite some time. We reconciled since then, and man, we have a really good relationship at this point. But I was devastated. I guess I'll say, even when I would go back east, back to Georgia and see my daughters, man, a lot of times, this is before my eldest got pregnant, they would, and I know my ex-wife did not bring other men around there. My ex-wife, I had to give her credit. I probably she's rather conservative, man. By I guess today's standards, rather conservative. But anyway, my daughters would prance around the house in front of me. It's just us there, and they would have kind of very revealing clothing, and I would have to say, and it's just me there, their daddy, and I would say, go. I wouldn't say it in these words, but I say go put some clothes on. I might, depending on the situation, I might get a little aggressive with it. And I knew, like, I don't know, man. I knew at that point that, man, I don't want to say powerless, but I had less power because they weren't living directly under my roof. That they were subjected to the powers of, we've talked about Atlanta, man, the Atlanta area, man, and just being, and their mom is conservative. I still had to be the one to make the correction, and she's somewhat conservative. And so, and I just kind of observed, I'm still kind of in charge of this woman, my ex-wife, who was somewhat conservative. And the same thing with my daughters, man. I just saw that. I have many other stories about that, so I'll start to end right here, man. Man, I just saw that. Yeah, man. I was kind of both of their dads. I was the authority figure in the house still. And I'll end right there, and I guess I'll go with the flow of the conversation. Thanks for having me up.
All right, Inspired Truth, go ahead and jump in there.
Yeah. Am I coming in loud and clear? I don't even see myself on the screen.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, man, we hear you perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Oh, all right. So peace to you all on the panel. Peace to the folk on the chat. I hope you all have a happy weekend and a happy Friday. I don't even know where to start with this. Like, I do not envy the position that you guys with daughters are in, because it seems like we have what we try to instill in the youth, and then we have the corruption of the society that we live in, and in our position in the world. Like the world, like you will tell them to have respect for themselves. Black women, have respect for yourselves, have respect for your community, have respect for black men, and then the world will say to do the polar opposite of that. I don't envy that whatsoever. I saw a, a clip of another young lady basically having a crash out that I've seen play out in real life, like while like on the dating scene. Like she's over there talking about how she doesn't want to get picked, she doesn't want to be a pick me, but then at the same time crashing out about black men in all likelihood, probably because they correctly assessed that she's a bop. Like, if you don't want to get picked and you don't want to be a pick me, you're expressing that you want to be a bop. And the cognitive dissonance that goes on keeps people in this emotionally destroyed state where on the one hand, you want and crave that connection and that relationship that's productive, but then on the other hand, you have the peer pressure and you want to get along with the broader community and the broader worldview that puts you into the bot position. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, and I don't see a way out of it. But I guess I'll land there for now.
Man,
Appreciate you.
There's a certain balance of affection and attention and appreciation that all women need, both you know, child and adult. And when you have, like me, I guess, becoming somewhat rare, uh, as best I know, my daughters were amongst the last of their respective groups to become sexually active. And in hindsight, I realized it was in large part because we shared affection on a daily basis. We hugged each other on a daily basis when they were children. You know, I'm watching TV or something or listening to some music, and it was nothing for my daughters just to make a point to just come down and sit next to me and and kiss all over me. They would often even kind of fight with each other over it. Well,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that's a reservoir of affection that has been being built up in them, of security, of
Mm-hmm.
satisfaction, of longing, of affection. And if you're getting that, women, if they're getting that and they're getting that fairly young in life, there's a lot less confusion of that with respect to them becoming or needing or feeling compelled to become sexually active. A lot of the thought stuff and the bop stuff and all the confusion, you don't want to be no man controlling you, but yet you definitely gonna be busting it wide open. It's a Friday night, so you definitely gonna. A lot of that confusion is a deficit of early childhood and adolescent affection from their father.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that is. If they don't get that, they don't get that sort of foundation of that, it's a longing in them that will look, you'll say, well, she's just a hoe. And that's how it'll look on the surface. But behind it, very often, is that deficit of emotional reciprocation and affection from their father.
hmm
Mm-hmm. What happens is when that happens, because Black Uru, I understand perfectly what you're saying, because it's the same way when you have daughters and you're sitting down. They will make they will make a beeline for you. My youngest daughter, she doesn't care what I'm doing. I could be sitting at my computer and doing some work. If she wants to, she will come and crawl and sit in my lap, and she will just not stuck there. And then I can keep on doing what I'm doing, but she's just happy to be right there. What's happening is neurological pathways in her brain are creating connections. Those connections absent are the longing that Black Uru is describing. But when you have a young girl that has those connections in her brain, there's no room for longing because the pathway's already there. And it's very easy for her to understand what it means to bond with someone, to be in the presence of someone, and not have to perform. They understand what it means to be vulnerable in the presence of someone and be perfectly safe. And that is a huge difference. That's why you have so many women these days that are so rough around the edges, is because they've never, ever, ever safely been vulnerable
I
with
would.
Yeah.
It, it,
the
This
father.
is
I have a
this is
question.
what this is
Is
what I meant by you should choose a woman that has a reverent and loving relationship with their father because they trade in that relationship to, and it's kind of a transfer. It's not a trade in. They transfer that relationship from their father to their husband,
yeah.
and it's a seamless transition when it's done correctly. She still maintains that similar relationship with her father, but when she becomes sexually active with her husband, like she's supposed to, she starts doing those type of things with her husband, and as her husband is giving her now fulfilling that need, that keeps her from going out in the street becoming a hoe.
question. Is there any way to accomplish that while not living in the house? I mean, if we're looking at like 26%,
No,
29%, less than 30% marriage rates, are we gonna, is it possible?
The real answer
no,
is
Very,
no.
very
The real answer
unlikely.
is
no,
no.
Yeah,
No.
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Like we
Because you have to have consistency. You have to. It's not performative. It has to be instinctive. You have to have consistency,
Mhm.
and you have to see consistency over a number of scenarios. You got to see consistency when dad's tired and mom got to cook. You got to see consistency when mom's tired and dad got to cook. You have to understand how that dynamic works. You got to understand consistency. You have to
Yep.
actually have that constantly present, and without that it's broken, and everybody knows that. And for anybody who was not raised with your father, not raised with both parents, it was different when you went over to one parent's house versus over at the parent that you stayed with house. It was different, and there was no consistency. You knew how to act when you went over to the disciplinarian's house, whether that was at home or your other parent's house, and you knew what you could get away with the lenient parent.
Yep.
You understood these very key social dynamics, because see, you understood and understand when to speak and when not to speak, when to hold your tongue and when I'm not going to say that, because see, that's going to blow up. Because I saw mama say that one time and then daddy blew the roof off. I saw daddy say something one time and mama about lost her beans. So I'm going to learn how to keep my mouth shut, when to keep my mouth shut. And here's the other thing that you get with consistency: I understand when to stop pushing a man, because I ain't never seen my daddy hit my mama, because my mama always knew when to STFU.
You know,
Consistency.
and tying that with an earlier point that I made, because we're absent these things. I think with these young brothers coming into these relationships with these women, you're going to have to ask for something that men did not have to ask for before. They don't have women that are leading them in the right direction when it comes to relationships with men. So if you're a productive man and you decide to go into a relationship with a woman coming out of a broken home, she's gonna have to trust you. You're gonna have to ask her for trust from the beginning.
I'm gonna add another thing that's kind of observation, and it's like kind of like a retrospective. Now that I'm older, looking back at some of the younger relationships, it's like some of the ladies that had this thing where if they got into it with mom, then they going over to dad's house. If they get into it with dad, then they go over to mom's house. That pattern still repeats, but it just repeats with men.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm. Yeah, if I
Right.
can, I want to go back to, Chef was talking about consistency, and I want to add something to that, or sort of expand on the issue. Uh, you know, a female, a growing female, is a ball of ever changing emotions. Happy as hell one minute, sad the other minute, angry one minute, joyous the next minute, confused one minute, enlightened one minute. This shit, all those things can happen within an hour, shit, within 10 minutes, like literally. And the issue with
Yeah.
the consistency, or to expand on the presence, your strong, solid, consistent presence balances out all those emotions. There's the comfort of your solid presence, your voice, your hardened physicality that communicates to her physically, protection, uh, direction, certainty. It's a very natural kind of thing. It's like watching a lion and lion cubs, and the lion is there and he's just kind of sitting there and not really moving, doing much anything. And the cubs are doing all kinds of, and the cubs and the lionesses are doing all kinds of shit around the lion. But the stability of the presence of the lion, of the strength of the lion, is imparted upon the girls. Well, how do you consistently replicate that and maintain that if you're not there? It's not even
Okay.
about what you want to do. It's about the logistics of how human beings, how mammals actually work together and develop together. And when you're not there, that emotional development and stability is just not going to resonate the same. It's not going to occur the same. She's got to now be reactive to things that if you were there, she might not even think about reacting to. She's got to be afraid of shit that if you were there, she wouldn't have to be afraid of or concerned about. And she's emotional. The mama's emotional. Both of them get upset with each other. Daddy's not there. It's a whole bunch of crazy ass emotion going on. So it's almost impossible for that to be managed without the presence of men, of father.
So it's not something that
Like,
can be done in just a weekend.
Nope.
No.
No, sir.
Nope. We
Most times you do more damage when you do it that way because you create confusion. You don't
Yes.
give the child, you don't give your daughter any solid ground to stand on because she's got to always balance how to act with you, how to act with mom. What I got to remember, oh, I can do this with daddy, but I can't do this with mom. And most times when it's like that,
Hmm.
you're not in a position. You as the father aren't in a position emotionally to impart structure. You're trying to ensure that the relationship remains intact because you're now doing preemptive strikes and damage control
Hmm.
against what her mother may or may not be introducing to her through other men. You don't know what they speak like,
Hmm.
what they sound like, what they act like. No, it has to be consistent. And see, this is the thing. both men and women in this younger generation are going to have to do one very important thing. And I'm talking to the young men and the young women. They're both going to have to get past their ego and realize neither gender is going to be able to say, I told you so. You should have been listening to me the whole time. It is really going to be a serious compromise. Now, I know that may rub some of the men on the panel the wrong way, but guess what? You're going to have to get over it because we not going to be the ones in that fight. That's not the world that we grew up in, and that's not the world where we have to cut our teeth. We already cut our teeth in our world growing up, doing it on our path. We talking about our children and grandchildren. We're not gonna be there, and they're gonna have to figure it out. They're gonna have to take the wisdom that we've given them and then add with their experience and figure out what is right and what is wrong.
All right, I'm gonna jump in real quick because I'm back
Hey, he's
and I
back.
haven't heard
Oh,
it. Yeah.
quality of the show just went down.
Hey, you know what, Roger? You
But
know what, Roger? We had a whole good time while you go. Before you get that money real quick, I'm gonna tell you this real quick. You can take Black Reset down for about 2 minutes. I ain't gonna take his soup.
God,
I'm gonna just take his spoon because
you
he
know
ain't got to
what?
do
why,
that. We was doing just fine.
why you do me like that, man? Why you?
In mid sentence,
He
he's
was plotting
gone.
on you.
Mid sentence,
Oh,
mid
He
sentence.
was plotting.
Yeah, I want you to know that, Great Black Reset, because you still can hear. Yeah, while you was in mid sentence, you disappeared. Okay, 2 minutes, brother. You in the penalty box. All right. Shout out, shout out to there. I said, and I was gonna say, y'all. I'm just gonna read the super chat, then kind of let y'all go from there because I haven't been able to hear the conversation, so I don't really even know where y'all are right now. But shout out to there. I said it. He says, gents, my two brothers and myself all have daughters with Keishas. None of our daughters respect our tutelage over their mother. Hashtag if marriage fails.
Ouch.
Ooh, that's kind of rough right there. That's hey, my condolences, brother. My condolences. That's rough
hey,
because
yeah.
if you dealing with it, then your brother dealing with it. Well, whatever. Yeah, the other brother dealing with it. That's got to be rough. That's got to be rough.
It,
My condolences, man. Real talk. But I'm
yeah,
gonna let
man.
somebody else go.
It's like our hearts go out to you, brother, because we don't want to see no brother, no man going through anything like that. And that's where we as men can't be afraid of our own path. We can't be afraid of the good, the bad, and the ugly on our own path. And that's what we have to impart to our sons and our daughters. Now, you can't impart it the same way. You can't tell your sons the same things you tell your daughters, and you definitely can't tell your daughters the same thing you tell your sons. You have to understand how to use wisdom in that respect, but you have to be able to let your path be a kind of guide. Let them see your mistakes and let them see where you went wrong and be honest. I used to date a girl, and whenever I would go over and sit with her and her family, because that's the only time we could spend time together. Her father was very, very conservative, very traditional. So I go over, sit down, and he would talk all the time. And he said, "Young man, you know what? I'll be honest with you. When I was young, I was real whorish, and I don't want that for my daughter." So I'm guarding against. I recognize, that characteristic. I recognize that fire in y'all young men because I was that whorish young man. So I know what it's like, and I don't want that for my daughter. And although she and I didn't work out up until the day he died, and even to now, I have nothing but respect for that man because he was honest. And I was like, you know what? I don't know that I could. I don't know that if I did marry his daughter, that we would have worked out because my path took me along some of the things that he went, and that was something that she didn't want. So it's kind of good that we didn't work out. And I understood that just by talking to him, the father. See, it's not that the fathers, and I'm gonna stop talking so much so that somebody else can get in here. But it's not that the fathers so much, rule, but and I think Black Uru, you would back me up with this. It's the expectation or the disappointment that those women would see in the men's eyes that those women didn't want to see, and that's why they would be so hard on those daughters. because those mothers, those grandmothers, they would never, ever, ever want their husband to call them or look at them as anything less than my wife. And that image was important to them. We don't have that image anymore. I'm gonna stop right there, fellas. Y'all jump on in here.
I want to ask a question
Well,
to, down if you
I
hear Black Reset. I wanted to
Okay.
ask Black Reset if he was
remember a
here.
moment.
When you said earlier that you wanted to ask women for this,
I can't
man.
Did he
hear.
go out?
I don't hear
Oh,
you.
can y'all hear me?
You
Can y'all hear me?
ask
You
Yeah,
had
women.
went out for a
You
second.
said, yeah, you said you was gonna ask women
No,
for
no, I
what?
did. I think he was saying you want. I think he said something along the lines you wanted to ask women for submission or something like that. I asked women for some.
Oh
Is it,
shoot,
is
he
it,
cut
All
out
right.
again, man.
Man,
Oh,
is
can
they
y'all hear me? Oh, damn. My bad. My
you
bad.
was you was going out
okay, wait.
again.
You keep cutting
Let me
out.
let me see if I heard what you're saying. Are you asking Black Reset when he says you have to ask women for trust and submission? Is your question how do you ask a woman for submission? What does that look like? Is that your question? Am I hearing you right?
No, that's not my question. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
more of a just like we shouldn't ask them for submission necessarily, or like we should demand it, right? Just in the same way she demand that you be a masculine man, the same way she demand that you be a provider. Then what she demand that quote unquote if something go bump in the night that you supposed to be the one to go out there and get it. We shouldn't. I'm saying should we be asking for it or we should be demanding it? Because
well,
as
okay. To answer your question, I'm using.
You cannot demand submission in the United States of America from women. They have to agree to it. They have to accept it and embrace it. You don't have the law. You don't have the courts. You don't have the government. You don't have the business. You don't even have the churches that back
Mm,
you're having these women to submit to you. There's nothing. When you talk about submission, you guys reference the submission in the Bible. That those were traditional societies where that man could have killed that woman if she didn't do what he told her to do. So you're applying standards and you
thanks.
referencing terminology to something that exists in a very different world. Of course, you have to, if you're going to at all get a woman's submission, of course, she's going to have to agree to it because there's nothing else that's going to make her do otherwise. Of
Right.
course, she's going to have
That
to agree to it.
that was a good insight. I think we want to also hear what Black Reset thought about it since he posed it, like clarification on what he meant by it, I guess.
I was pretty much along the lines of what Uru was saying. I was saying that the use softer language because of the environment in which we're in. Like Uru was saying, you can't really demand anything, but you can hold a standard. Like when I was meeting women in the past and dating them and things like that, and they let me know they're interested in me. I would tell them this is what I require. And there were women who would say, I can't do that. That's cool. We can still be cool, but it's not going to work out. You have to be honest about what it is that you require up front. Just like they're honest about, well, they'll tell you what they want. So you just let them know this is how I move. There are benefits to it, but this is how I move and this is what I'm requesting from you. And if you do get in a relationship with a woman and you find out that she's going to the left, you might have to exit that relationship. That's just how you have to move. It doesn't have to be like you're beating her over her head with it or nothing like that. You just have to have a good understanding from the beginning. Before you get involved with me, this is what is required.
let me ask you
And
a real
But
question.
here's the problem with that though. The more you have, the more power you have, the better looking you are, the better your dick is, all the good stuff, right? The more that you have, the greater the possibility, hell, probability that she will fake the funk until she gets you in the position where she got your ass. So
True.
even and in America, there is nothing at all that's going to hold her to any sort of submission deal that she herself does not want to maintain. And yeah, I mean, for God, you definitely do your upfront vetting. It sounds like you do a great job with your upfront vetting. But I guarantee you this, Reset, if you were like really like a big deal to her, and I'm not saying you're not a big deal, you know, don't misunderstand
Right.
me. But if you were such a big deal to her that she thought it was her interest to get you come hell or high water, she would have faked the funk until she got you where she wanted you. Because
I
that's what
can
they're
agree with
doing
that.
now. Why do you think there's so many men in divorce court today? While we're talking, there are literally tens of thousands of men in the country in the divorce court right now. Surprise like a motherfucker.
I agree. I agree. I never take anything that we talk about up here personally. I don't like for nobody to sugarcoat nothing with me anyway. But I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But these are just the kind of chances. This is the environment we're in now. This is just where we're at.
Yeah, well, I want to say
Listen,
that
well,
real
Let
talk.
me
If
let me
anybody
let,
gonna
let
say,
me let me ask y'all something.
well, let me just say this real quick. Let me just say this real quick.
hold on.
If anybody gonna say the Great Black Reset is not a big deal, it's gonna be me. If anybody, but
Cold blooded.
but go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
I second that. I second that, Roger. Yeah, I second that.
God dang. What I do today? What I do today?
Hey man. Yeah.
Do
Damn.
does the parent do the parents of America raise their daughters to be somebody's wives anymore?
No.
No.
Well,
Not vast
no,
majority,
because
no.
the parents of America have changed. The parents of America is a different generation now. Let's think about this. The boomers, they're not the parents of America anymore. The Generation X, we're not the parents of America anymore.
Nope.
Millennials, no. Think about it. Who's running everything right now? Millennials,
That's
Gen
right.
Zs. They're the parents
Mhm.
of America, but they didn't get the whole lesson of what it means to be a parent. They don't understand the gravity of parenthood. So they just walking around just like they used to go in your closet, like, ooh, and get your wife's shoes and put them on, and they walk around with her pearls on and her rings and everything on, and they play dress up in the closet. That's what these quote unquote parents of America are doing now. They playing dress up.
Well,
They playing dress up. They just look like parents, but they ain't got no substance,
well,
and that's why the children look the way they do.
and I want to say real quickly, do we have parents of America? Because when you think about the vast majority of people, can you actually tell your kids what to do anymore? And when your kids don't listen to you, can you punish them without you having a problem? Because to my
Absolutely.
understanding, a lot of folks, from what I've talked to, even certain people in certain fields, they say you can't touch a kid. Now, if your kid don't respond by just being talked to, and you can't touch your kid, are you an actual parent at that point?
Well, if that's all you're
No.
relying on is touch and talk, then no. You got to be a manipulator as a parent. Oh, okay. My grandfather taught me something when I was growing up. I had a cousin that would always act out, and this was right around the time where the child abuse hotline first got introduced. So this is back in the 80s. Black Rule, you remember when that hotline first got introduced?
I
My
remember.
my my cousin told my granddaddy, I'm gonna call them people on you. He said it just like that too. I'm gonna call them people on you. My granddaddy said, okay, there go the phone right there. He
Yep.
said, now I'm gonna stand in between you and the phone. Now, if you get through me, you feel free to call them people. Suffice it to say, my cousin ain't never called them people. Cause you got to understand. I ain't got to beat you, but you gonna make a choice, and your choice is either going to hurt or not hurt. But you gonna make the choice. You got to know how to manipulate. Oh, okay. You don't want to listen to what I say. You don't want to wear the clothes that I buy for you, and you 13 years old. Oh, okay, cool. How about this? You can buy your own clothes. Now remember, you don't have a job, and I'm not paying allowance to disobedient children. And everybody know you my daughter. So if you go out there and act a fool or do anything stupid, folks gonna actually send you back home. So you better be thankful for all the clothes you got in your closet because they gonna have to last you. You better hope you don't grow another inch. You got to know how to manipulate it. And I use that word for a lack of a better term, and it is probably the best term. It just has a bad connotation. You have to know how to mold your children. You have to see. Watch this. You got to see the good in your children that's from you, and you got to see the bad in your children that's from you, and you got to know how to navigate that.
Hey,
And dig this. That's only half that child. You got a whole nother good and bad side from the mama that you got to navigate. And between the two of you all, you got to put this child on an even keel so both he and she knows how to navigate their own emotions when they get older.
And then there's a
Rod.
compounding factor too. You got you, them, and you got the world.
All right, go ahead,
The
Jado. But
world is
after Jado, we
also
got a new cat.
Roger, with what you posed when you asked the
Mhm.
question, do we have parents in America? I would like to pose that same question. Do we have husbands in America? The same.
I mean, yeah, I
Yeah.
do believe I got that. I don't see no problem with having hoops. I think you can
They
find them
teach.
just about everywhere.
They are teaching these boys to take care of women no matter what. So I would say, yeah, we still have husbands. They're not doing the greatest job of it, but they are teaching these boys to spend all their money, time, and effort on women. So you have more of husbands than you do wives.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Appreciate.
say this.
I want to.
Uh,
I
What,
want
what,
to. I'm sorry, Roger. May
yeah,
I?
'cause we do. Yeah, well, I guess go ahead, but we do got an Ivy League who done showed up, y'all. I'm
Oh
trying to
well,
make
no,
sure
no,
Oh
we
no,
ain't.
no, no,
man,
no, no,
man,
no, no.
y'all
Let
just
me
keep
sit
talking.
back
Don't
and
don't
let
worry
the
about
Ivy
that.
leader.
Y'all keep.
And see, this why your spoon get took. I sit back and I wait for the Ivy League, Roger. Go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Introducing my kit is pure. You have a 3 minute open statement. Remember, all the people with the privileges, y'all got 3 minute opening statements. You don't have to use the whole 3 minutes, but you do have them available.
A shout out to you, Roger, on the and shout out to the brothers, except for Great Reset on the. Uh, so first and foremost, your cat is your wife, and your kitten is your little girl. And one thing a father is supposed to do is make sure that kitten is pure as China white, coming fresh from Thailand and doing a bump on a butt naked stallion off that ass. And if you can do that, you're a good father. And see, here's the situation. What I see in America, I see the former president's daughters being mentored by a 50-year-old unmarried lesbian. Shout out to Diana Ross's daughter. When I look at America in its heyday, when we looked at Jackie Onassis, right? There was not a lesbian in sight teaching Jack Jr. and I don't know his sister's name, but you know the first American Camelot, right? That family. When I look at America today, mothers talking about being friends with their daughters, going to the clubs, sharing tampons. So how in the world can we have expectation of our daughters today? And let alone the hooker blood in her bloodstream, right? Called the hooker uh the hooker X gene. Because half these women don't even know who their granddaddy really is. Because I will wager any man on this planet Earth that a lot of people you think is your grandfather is not genetically your grandfather or your father back in the day. Especially in the 60s with the free love. I mean, women didn't even have a decency to shave their bush, and you think that she gonna know who the parent is or the father is? Come on, people. Reality is knocking. Now, there was a very good question on the panel. Do we have fathers? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We do not have good fathers because uh we can see the product that we have today, whether he here or not. Obama is not a good father. Absolutely not. Right? And we have very few good fathers in America because even when the father is there, right? If he's allowing his wife to talk that friendship bullshit, he is a horrible father. Now passing Michael now.
Well, I'm gonna say that I was looking at it in the opposite terms because when you said, "Do we have good fathers available?" I look at the men that's available to be fathers, and I see plenty of good men available to be fathers. Now,
But
who women are happening to have children with, that's a whole different thing. So
yeah,
I
but
took it in the context.
okay, fair. But I'm looking at it as actual people who are actual fathers. I would say this generation, not the generation in the past. I would say millennial parents, late Gen X parents are not good fathers.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I was and this was how I thought it was being presented. It was like that context of like the Bible say when you find a wife, you find a good thing. That means she
Mhm.
was already a wife before you met her.
Yeah.
So that's how I took because I thought that's how it was being said. Just so y'all know, what I'm saying. That's how I was taking that.
All right.
Um,
Well,
but I think what I'm saying in this
Obama, that's a good father.
now what you said about Obama, that I'm gonna let him fight that battle. I'm gonna let him fight that one.
Oh,
Uh,
and Will Smith. Let's not forget that Will Smith too. Will Smith. This nigga got his kids wearing dresses, son.
I'm gonna let Will Smith fight that battle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some things that people have done that I'm not gonna even attempt to defend at the end of the day. So he got to explain that one for me because I don't understand that one either. At the end of the day, I understand about trying to give kids room to develop different things, but having your son put on female clothes and acting like that's okay. Yeah, I thought this father's supposed to step in and say, "Hey, you don't let nobody dress you like that."
And
That's
let's
what
not
I
forget.
thought father was supposed to do.
Let's not forget. And I'm gonna let my play here. And let's not forget. So first, I forgot to say this. Bam, that 83 points is a sham. Adam Silver should be impeached. You motherfucker. And number two, and you know what? And I'm gonna say this too. Kobe the Great Bryant is actually the only person he had that 82 is actually the highest scoring game in NBA history because I ain't seen no video on Will. So that 100 game don't even exist. Number two, because this made me hot. Number two, Bam is a goddamn shit, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because of this. Is
I was
because
I was thinking about doing a show on it. Do you really want
I don't know if I can't control my language on that.
to?
Why I'm mentioning the Miami Heat because former third greatest NBA shooting guard also is a horrible father. And I'm really gonna pass the mic on that.
Well, you you something else, bro. And I see what you're saying. Don't think I missed it. It says pat out the elder blood. Elder blood says black men say that they are the head. They thump their chest as being husbands, but then around, and say he and his wife are equals. All things being mutual. Okay, I think he's saying yeah. Black men say that they are the head, but then they thump their chest about being husbands. But then would turn right around and say that him and his wife are equals.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm gonna say that is a very
Mm.
contradictory way to deal with that. If you believe you and your wife are equals, which hey, you in America, I'm not saying you can't believe y'all equals, but you cannot be the head if you're an equal. You can't have both of them at the same time. That's just how the math work on that one. You can't have both at
Okay.
the same time.
Okay. Let me help y'all. Let me help y'all unmarried folk with this one for real. Let me help y'all unmarried folk with this one. Cause y'all will go all day and be going down the whole wrong path. And I just sit there and be like, you know what? Oh, bless y'all hearts. I, okay, I am the head of my family. Okay, I'm not my entire family, but I am the head of my family. And I'm going to use this analogy as the head and the body. My head sits on the top of my body. My head directs wherever my body goes. What we do, everything, the control center is in my head. I like to sit down and watch football, y'all. Like to sit down and watch a good basketball game. When I sit down and watch a good football or basketball game, I like to have me a nice cold beer right there. Love a good cold beer watching a good football game, especially on a Saturday. College football, nice beer. And I'll sit there and I'll drink me about two, three of them. Now, my head is saying, we watching this game, we all into it because I'm trying to see what the Bulldogs are gonna really do. My body starts talking to me. Now remember, my head is in charge, but my body starts talking to me because my body's like, hey, Chef, we got us a situation going on down here. The bladder's kind of filling up. We need you to get up and go empty that real quick. Thank you, sir. They send me a signal. The body sends me a signal. My head says, you know what? I'm in charge. I'm going to sit right here because I'm watching football. Yeah. And I down another beer. My body reaches up to my head and says, hey. All right, it's getting a little bit critical down here. I'm going to really need you to get up and go empty this space out so we can make some more room because I know you want to drink some more beers. We ain't trying to have no problems. My head says, no. I'm gonna sit here and watch TV because that's what I want to do. My body says, okay. And my body submits to my head. What happens? I pee all over myself because my head wasn't smart enough to listen to the signals from my body. Now, y'all take that to mean whatever you want to mean, but see, that's why I've been married for 27 years. Y'all can kiss my ass with the rest of that bullshit. I'll pay the cornbread tax later.
Chef. See, this is the problem, my good friend. See, because if we were friends, and because you're a good guy, I would just sit. We watching the game, me, you, and my homeboy Epstein. Epstein would say, "You don't
No,
have to
no,
move.
no, no,
You don't have
no.
to
Let me
move."
stop you right there. I am not in that situation.
Not in
You
that
say
situation.
nothing less. Do not use me in that situation. I do not give you authorization to use my name,
All I'm saying,
image, or likeness in this particular example, analogy, or point that you're making.
look. All I want to say is this, and I'm just gonna keep it very
Yo,
simple.
wow, you somebody, you
You do
great
not
man
have to
reset.
move.
Y'all sitting down watching something,
I'm
not
not,
me.
now you want to use me. No, no,
You do
no,
not have
Hey,
no,
to move.
hey,
no.
hey, hey, if this is a bush family, I will throw you in front of it. I'm not finna sit in the same with him and Epstein. No, what kind of nonsense?
All I'm saying, you don't have to move in my house. If I'm like, hey, chef, come over. You don't have to move. We got a couple of 18-year-olds that will just sit in front of you, open her mouth, and you can do your thing. You don't have to move.
Well, to be fair, Chef does live on the island. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, we don't push that nonsense over here for real.
What?
No. And I gotta lay this disclaimer out for real. Because Epstein Island is a very real place. And it is in the Virgin Islands. I live in the Virgin Islands, but Epstein
How
Island
you
is
know?
over there.
How you
And
how,
no, no,
how you
no,
know
wait,
that?
wait, 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 wait. It is, it impacts our economy to be associated with that nonsense. You have no idea how much our economy is impacted by what you see on the news going on with that particular island. Like seriously, and I honestly don't joke about it because I have seen folks lose their livelihood because tourism went down. Folks pull out of business because of that, and that's not something that I really joke about. So now, don't use my name in that for real. And I'm quite serious when I say that because that's
Okay,
some
I
nonsense.
apologize, Chef. I
I
apologize.
guess that's too close.
Weinstein,
Now we
Too
all good.
close.
I know you meant it, you ribbon and everything, but that's just see, we can take some things that can go too far as jokes, and I know you meant it as a joke, and I take it as a joke from you. But just for future references, that's not something that I joke about because
okay,
it
I
is
hear you. I
very
hear you.
close to home.
But
Yeah,
but
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 I ain't
just
coming to
so I
your
know you're
house.
lying, just so
I will let them girls pee and reset mouth. They can go ahead because
okay,
I don't
so
know what they
so
Yeah,
drinking.
you see,
so hold
see,
on,
this what I'm talking about.
wait. So, but we know Weinstein is age appropriate, so it's cool for that one, right?
You know what? I'm going on mute. I'm going on mute. Roger, get that for me.
Let me say, shout out to Elder Blood. I'm gonna help. Shout out to Elder Blood. He
See,
say,
see,
also biblically speaking, if the man is the head of the family and the wife/children are the body, when the head is removed, don't the body die? Now
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, y'all. I personally never look at being the head as a negative thing. And I do think because of stuff that's said on social media, a lot of times we just put too much negativity on being ahead. Where I come from, there's always a head. When I went to my family's celebrations, granddaddy was the head. I don't know what to tell you. The granddaddy was the head. I never seen it as a problem. When I was at home, my dad was the head. When I went to the Boy Scout meeting, the scoutmaster was the head. I go to church, the pastor was the head. I go to school, the principal's the head. There's always a head. A head can be positive or a head can be negative. So I'm gonna say this: if a woman has a head that is negative, I just accept that's what she likes because it fits her personality. If a woman is not, if she's not a good person, she does not want to be with a good head. She wants a bad one. If be realistic, if you're really a bad person, you don't really want to be that close in company with somebody who's good because y'all are going in opposite directions about stuff. So the head is never the problem either. Because if the head is problematic for the body's going to die. Period. So
Yeah,
they fit together. You
I
know.
never, I never really got the idea of like leadership as being one entity. That's not really how leadership works, right? Leadership is
No.
really about giving a direction to a group of people that are independent of you, that either has faith and belief in you, or have faith and belief in the mission, and we're all working together, right? As I'm delegating, but we're all working together to achieve that goal, whatever it may be, however grand or minute it would be. And so when we're talking about leadership in the head, right? Like, because for example, if she doesn't want to follow your program or the kids doesn't want to follow your programs, you just remove them and replace them with someone else. I mean, Trump does that, right? Ivanka Trump was talking, a lot of mess, and so he they were estranged for a little bit. Then when she came back to kiss the ring, he welcomed her back. Bottom line.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because she
say
came back and kissed the cock ring.
there's some legitimacy that a head will sometimes have to replace somebody. So to me, being a head is not some bad thing, or it's not a guy doing something to a woman. You want a good head so you can live a good life. And I think
You know,
honestly, a lot of women who don't have good heads, a lot of them seem to be complaining nowadays. You know,
that's too easy. That's too easy. I'm not even going there. That's too easy. A lot of women that don't have good heads, that's just too easy.
I
That's
mean, there's
too
something
easy,
there
Rod.
too. There's
Don't
definitely
throw it over
something
home plate like that no more. Don't throw it over home plate like that no more. You do that again, I'm gonna Sammy Sosa that thing for real.
Yeah. But
Well,
at the
maybe
end of
that's
the day,
Yeah.
appropriate. Maybe that's appropriate though.
But here's what I want to say, Roger. Here's what I want to say, and this is why I want to actually have folks understand what it means to be the head. You are the head of the Roger Report Live, and everybody on the panel knows it. But you do not do everything. You do not moderate every bit of the chat, even though you can. You don't stay up here and say everything and bring out every point because you have panelists. But that doesn't mean that you don't listen to us and go in the directions that we suggest. Yes, ultimately the decision is yours as the head, but you have a council that you listen to. That's how leadership works. You have a council that you draw wisdom from because a good leader understands if I'm the smartest person in the room, I'm in the wrong room. I need to surround myself with folks what's his name today? Like Kitten said, I'm gonna surround myself with folks who actually understand the mission and respect my position as the leader. They're not trying to replace me as the leader. They respect my position as the leader, and they give me and offer their wisdom and expertise to help my leadership. That's what you look for when you get a wife. You ain't looking for somebody that you got to rule over. If you got to constantly rule over with an iron fist your wife, you have no time to be a productive man in this society.
Well, see, I do agree with that, and that's why I was saying something because if somebody says head, I don't take it as that means somebody's trying to rule over somebody 24 hours a day. It just means that if a decision needs to be made or there's some type of complication, they're going to go to the head to see what the head thinks should be done. But that ain't me ruling somebody 24 hours a day. That means I trust you to make good decisions. If there's something you have a question about, all you got to do is call. You know, or whatever you don't want to deal with, because those people who are in position and something comes up and they don't want to deal with it, they don't want to make the decision. Well, if you don't want to make the decision, you call me. I'll make the decision. So that's why, to me, I never see it as a negative thing. So anytime people have an issue with me and being the head or the leader or something like that, to me it sounds crazy. And I ain't saying nobody what anybody said up here today. I'm just saying from a general standpoint, it sounds crazy to me because if you're involved in an organization, that means you like where the leadership is going. Because if you didn't like it, you just leave the organization.
yeah, but the problem is that women don't like. Well, my encounter is this. My encounter. I'm not going to say all women, but when I encounter women, two things they don't like. The first thing they don't like is when you're trying to raise a woman better than them. They get jealous of that. And then number two, they get jealous of the. I mean, I guess Black Guru can mention this. I'll talk about this better because he has daughters. But like as I look at this picture of the mom and daughter, definitely, I don't know why it comes to my mind, but definitely, whoever she thinks her father is ain't her father. That just comes to mind right away. Because that whole is too light skinned to be. I can't even see her father, but I know that loco is too light skinned, right? Like she looks like she is a product of a white man. So unless her father is a white man and whatever, I know she don't know who her real father is. But the point I'm trying to make is this: so my kitten is pure. Most men want their baby girl to be pure into a marriage, right?
True.
Mom is gonna feel kind of way about that, right? Because mom coochie wasn't China white on wedding night or honeymoon night, right? It wasn't raw, right? That thing was at least 4 or 5 bodies in. But like Ti, right? Ti took his daughter to the gynecologist. He asked the gynecologist the cat facts and things like that. Everybody's in the uproar, including his wife. And see, these are the things that is hard for men to make sure that the daughters can meet the expectation of their fathers.
Well, I'm gonna say I do remember my goddaughter. Really, her mother bought her some thongs when she was like 17,
God dang.
and I just didn't get it. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't get it because I'm like, I mean, I let her mother her child, but you know what I'm saying. That was just one I just didn't understand. I just didn't get why are you giving her thongs at 17? Like, you know, I just didn't see the point in it, man. I just, to this day,
What? A
I
phone?
thought thongs are something you go get on your own or you go get with your friends. You don't do it with your mama.
What did she get at 17?
She got a pair of thongs.
Because they want to be friends, right? Well, my mama gonna tell her how to wear that thing out.
Nah, I'm saying, I mean, I ain't got kids, and it's her daughter, so I didn't put up no fuss about it. I just asked a couple questions. I just don't understand why you buy your daughter some stuff. I don't get it.
And see, my question would be, that if my wife, God forbid, brought my daughter something like that, my question would be like, I would think abuse or assault or something. Because why in the world would you think it's okay to buy your little girl something like that?
I have an answer for that. That's because we have the same boyfriend.
Why you
You
joking? He ain't lying. No, why you joking? He ain't lying. I was sitting down playing dominoes yesterday with some young fellas, and this one young dude was telling us how he knocked down the mama and the daughter, and how the mama couldn't take no wood, but the daughter was real good. But I'm trying to tell you, he ain't lying. Facts.
dang. Well, y'all hanging out with some heathens, man.
Hey, we're in hell, brother. We're in hell. What kind of demon are we dealing with? That's what matters.
Because I mean that's just gross.
How's that gross,
That's
man? How's that
no.
gross?
I
Do
mean,
you
like,
do you do you do you understand the level of pleasure
no. I'm
get
just saying
that is involved
I'm
when
just
you're
a
smashing the
human
daughter
being.
and the mother?
No. I'm just saying, like, your mom take you to buy underwear. That's gross.
Because they have the same boyfriend. What are you talking about?
This is gross, bro. That's
Man,
just
get out
gross.
of here. You don't know the pleasures of life, I see.
No, I'm just saying, like, from your point of view, yeah, knocking down the daughter and the mom, that's fine. I understand that, but from that perspective, that's just gross.
Oh,
Okay.
so you're a saint now? You're a
Let
saint in hell.
me read this real quick because I don't know where y'all went. I had to take another call. I got important stuff going on. Had to do it. Shout out to Elder Blood again. He says, last point. I had this conversation with my ex-wife. She asked were we equally yoked. I said no because her body wasn't yoked to my head. Like guys, her body wasn't yoked to my head like God said.
See,
Uh,
I'm telling you, you got to have these conversations
I'ma
early.
just watch that go across home plate just like that. I'm gonna take that strike and let that go right across home plate like that. That's two of them, Roger. Roger pushing me.
I wasn't expecting it from Elder Blood. I wasn't expecting it.
Chef Mike, you gonna have to knock one out of the park, man. They treat you like Mike Casey, man.
No,
They
no.
just keep throwing them across there, man.
Hey, that was extremely deliberate. I just didn't expect it to come from him. I thought, shout out to Elder Blood, man. Shout out to Elder Blood. Real talk.
Oh, that is diabolical. That is diabolical. Please, that's diabolical temptation right there. And I'm the pit master. I'm the one that's supposed to be telling everybody to act right, and he throwing it right across home plate for me to be the one to. Oh, God, that's funny as hell.
I
Hey,
mean, I'm gonna read this real quick because
y'all,
the other one was just so funny. I gotta read this now just to see what he said. He said, "P.S. Roger in chat. My ex-wife divorced me to marry a white man and have a child with him. Then divorced him, apologizing to me, talking about how terrible and half racist he was, trying to be my friend." Man, I ain't gonna even say I'm surprised at that. I'm not gonna even say I'm surprised at that because, as I've said before, I do not believe black women have any standards. And if you're a racist yourself, I think it's, I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing in particular about your wife, but I'm just gonna say, I was telling somebody the other day, if you're a racist yourself, why wouldn't you marry one? I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. The
damn,
people don't think about that with black
damn,
women, but if you're a racist yourself, why wouldn't you marry one? You know,
damn.
that makes sense to me, and I'm gonna leave that there. Not technically about his wife. I'm just saying from a general perspective. If a black woman is a racist, why wouldn't she marry a racist? You know? Uh, now I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something else, but I done lost it now. Elder Blood just tripped me up with the joke.
Yeah, y'all out of control today. Chef Mike out of control. The blood out of control. Kitten out of control. Y'all just out
No,
of
no, no, no,
control.
no. No, no, no. Chef is very much in control. That's why Chef goes on mute because I'm trying to tell you I'm over here hollering. Oh my God, that's funny. I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to stay in control. Oh my God.
Man, it's gonna be a
No,
while before
I am not out of control. I'm just saying what needs to be said, and y'all just don't like the truth. That's it. Y'all
See,
like
my thing is now every time somebody say equally yoked, how long is it gonna take me to forget what came
Equally yoked equals equally choked.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't. I'm sorry. That was a bunt. That wasn't a home run. That was just a bunt.
Black Guru. I have a question.
Oh,
Black Guru, I have a question for you. Are you there?
Yeah. What's up?
Black Guru don't want nothing to do
Black
with
Guru, I have a
y'all.
question for you. If you're
Yeah.
watching the game with Harvey Weinstein, right? You're watching the game with Harvey
Oh,
Weinstein. Would you have to get
Leave
up?
my
Oh, you watching a basketball game with Harvey Weinstein and the brothers in Dubai, right?
leave my stepdaddy alone. Leave my stepdaddy alone.
Can I finish
what
the
kind of
question, sir?
question is this?
Can I finish the question,
I'm
sir?
I'm trying to I'm trying to visualize what you're presenting here.
So
Don't
it's
But
me,
go
do
ahead.
it.
it's me, you, Harvey Weinstein, some brothers from the Middle East, and maybe Snoop Dogg is there too, right? And Dave Chappelle. So we got
This
no,
is
I'm sorry, and Bill Cosby. So we got
And
cocaine,
a sausage
platinum.
party? Is that a sausage party?
nah, they watching the game. It's not a sausage party. They watching the game.
Watching the game, watching it. Brother, when Harvey Weinstein and the brothers from Dubai there, hoes are right there too. Come on. All right. So my question to you, Black Guru, do you think you need to get up to go to the bathroom?
They got porta potties.
Uh, uh, I mean, if I'm in that particular crew, no, I guess not.
There you go. There you go. That's all I'm
I
saying.
mean, if I'm in that particular, see, if I'm there with them, I've already accepted the rules. I've already accepted what's going on.
Well, Black
I'm
Guru,
not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying if I am there with them, I'm in Rome, so I'm doing what the Romans do.
Thank you. I've been called for being out of control for saying the truth. I don't know how, because I don't know how anybody else can see a different option what you just said. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, because here's the thing. If I'm there now, I don't want to be there with these rich and powerful men, and I'm not doing what they doing. Cause shit, I
Exactly.
might end up dead over there.
Exactly, right. You gotta
So
be customer.
so if I'm
You gotta
with
be
them,
customer.
yeah, I gotta roll with the program.
With the roll the punches.
Hey man, oh man,
I ain't know where he
oh
was going
man.
either, but Lord have mercy.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, so let me tie it in.
No,
I
it
expect
makes
my
sense.
daughter.
It makes sense. I just didn't know
No,
where you was going.
my expectation would definitely be my daughter to never ever know these type of people. That would be my expectation.
I am gonna get a T-shirt made for hot sauce that says "Did he do it?"
Well, I mean, look, we know if let's be we know if any women we know traveling unescorted by a man to anywhere in Arabia, I'm going to refer to it as Arabia. Uh, I mean, and they getting dumped on, man. I mean, that's just the given. That's happening. That's
How
definitely
many
happening.
how many fathers' daughters are right now stuck in Arabia that can't leave?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I'm being serious,
No,
right?
no, bro. I was
No.
really
Not
going to
even
bring up the
that. Not
same
even
And
that.
exact thing.
think of the fear and the embarrassment and the anger and I could not
Like
imagine
on
being
yeah,
the
imagine
father
that's your little
of yeah,
girl.
And
Like
not
your
on
little
and not
girl
only
is
that,
gonna
but
yeah,
think
be
about this though. Think about this as well. All of those girls, and you see it on TikTok now, you see it on Instagram now. All of those girls that went over there and do it, they're sick. They're sick and can't get well. They are actually ill, like
Yes,
hospital, in the hospital, intensive
yes,
care type stuff. They are sick right now,
yes.
but they're not sharing that side of the story.
why are they sick?
That's right.
And see, that's
yeah,
where we have to be as men. That's the side we got to highlight, and that's our job as men. I don't care about your feelings, baby. I know it might look good, it might be tempting, but this is on the other side of that.
But why are they in the
They
hospital? I
they
don't get
they're
it.
being hospitalized for various viruses and bacteria.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Parasites,
yeah,
viruses,
yeah,
all kinds of stuff, man. Listen. It's a reason you get rid of waste.
Mm-hmm.
It is just
yeah,
that. It is
yeah,
waste. It is where parasites go, how you get rid of parasites. If you
Oh,
ingest that, guess what? Okay.
And
you know what this you know what the problem is here with this is that and we've talked about this, the dumbing down of America and the dumbing down of our culture where we demonize intelligence. They don't understand that back in the day when there was wars and pestilence and famine, when waste was not removed from a city or an area and people were living
Mhm.
around it, they were getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do want to
hmm
Yeah,
highlight.
Europe call that the Black Plague.
Yeah. I want to highlight no placeholder. And I'm sorry about the time, no placeholder. Sorry about the time, but he did say, "What's wrong with him?" And that was
Yeah.
because of that setup that I didn't understand what you were setting up either. So, I was a little shocked the way you went. But
yeah,
I do understand the point that you was
yeah,
making. I do understand
So
the point that you was
yeah.
making.
And
I'm being,
and the fact that he used me to make his point, I'm feeling kind of violated.
no.
I'm feeling
Only
kind of
because I
violated.
told him, hey, take my name out of it. Hey, man, I ain't trying to be at the table. I ain't trying to be on. I ain't even trying to watch basketball. I don't even like
No,
that
I'm
sport no more.
all I'm just I was just highlighting a point that just how many fathers' daughters are stuck in the UAE right now with cash,
Yeah.
30, 40, 50 grand in cash, and still can't make it home
Now,
because of what's going on there.
And I
Like
do want.
that's
They
all we're
better
making a
save that
point.
30, 40, 50 grand in cash because that's what they're gonna have to pay their doctor bills with.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Yeah, they're going over there. Gonna end up being a mute point for a lot of them. Now I'm gonna say if y'all got a
And
missing
look,
relative,
it's one thing to go over there, get doo-dooed on, clean yourself off, take that cash and run your ass back to America. But imagine you stuck over there being a doo-doo girl, and folks know you the doo-doo girl because what other reason why you over there? But that's got to be something, man. That's got to be a hell of a something, man.
In Black Guru, they're on CNN. They're on CNN right
Oh,
now. Like, and everybody know
so
I can't get home.
so
I
they're
just
permanently
home.
documented as the doo-doo girls now. They permanently
Yeah.
documented as the doo-doo girls.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
imagine you watching your sister or your niece
Oh
or
man.
your cousin
Woo.
well,
on
No,
CNN.
no. Your
I,
daughter. Look, if you're the father of it, oh man, I don't know what you're doing. I I don't know what you're doing.
oh,
You disown that as a father.
well,
And you're going to prison if you don't because you're gonna snap one day. You have to say, listen, I don't know you. I never knew you, and you have to turn your back on that, man.
You got to disown that hoe.
see,
Cause
Wow.
yeah.
well,
I never thought I would actually be in a position to agree with the great black reset, but he ain't lying.
well,
Dang.
I just want to say right now. I
Dang.
want to say right now. I mean, what's today? Today is March 13th, 2026. If you have a
That's what it is.
young,
Friday the 13th. That's what that is. That's why I agree with
it,
him. Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, Roger. Go ahead.
now it's cool. It's cool. I just want somebody to recognize if you have a young female in your family who is missing right now, okay? Because I know somebody said they doing something. Somebody said, yeah, we finna take a trip up to Coney Island or something like that, and they just couldn't make it back when the time they were scheduled to come back. Some people got a
Yeah,
job. I was supposed to be
yeah,
back on Monday, but they
yeah,
wasn't able to
Yeah.
get back on Monday. I know
Yeah.
you believe
yep,
they took a trip up to Coney Island. I know that's what you believe because that's your sister, that's your
yeah.
cousin, that's your daughter,
Your
that's your baby.
girlfriend, your girlfriend, your wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
not the girlfriend, not the girlfriend or the wife. Oh no.
yeah. If the
Yeah.
story ain't quite lining up about why she can't get back home, okay, because
Mm,
I don't know what
mm,
to tell
mm,
you.
mm.
I don't know because honestly, some of them gonna have some real problems because they over there and they went and got a nice room and all that. Because I'm about to get 50 bands or whatever the case is. So they living good for a couple of nights. Some of them gonna have to make some
And,
decisions because I can't stay in this
and
$200
and
a night
and
room no more.
brothers, listen to me, brothers. These men over there can't afford any women on earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if they got a black girl coming over there, I you got to
Well,
pray over what you getting back when she come back over here, man.
let,
You
well, let
gotta
me.
you gotta submit that to like an exorcist or something to what you getting back when they come back over here.
Let me be a guiding
Because
light to
here's
the
the
lady.
thing now. Okay, so now you're in this country. Let me get this out. Now you're in this country, and you stuck in this country. And how long you gonna be in this country? And who controls what? And who has control? Man, oh Lord, man. I look. If y'all know seriously, if y'all know any of them women that's over there, I really feel for y'all. I really feel for
Do
y'all.
you do
Let
you
me
know the
let me
area?
say this
The
real.
area.
Hold on,
Go
but
ahead. Go
let
ahead.
me say this real. Let me be a guiding light to the ladies who might be listening to this, or to someone who know the ladies over there. In 1977, uh, Iran took over the American embassy and took hostages, but they let the black people go. So maybe you need to get all the doodoo girls, the black ones, and huddle up together and be like, "Hey, Can you offer us safe passage home? Because other than that, you're gonna be you. I don't know what's gonna happen. So maybe y'all need to do a Doodoo Girl coalition or something like that, and be like, can y'all let us go, right? And keep the
Why?
white prostitutes
Man.
there.
Why
Now
should they let them
this
go?
is
Well,
Just
because
this
keep
is
them. Keep them over
this
there.
is where
1977, Iran understood and let the black workers from the American embassy go, and they kept the white ones because they said they were under great oppression and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just listening
Nah,
listen.
about that
they
this
can have
morning.
them.
Well, I
Now
want to
The
say,
job
think
now.
for a second though.
Do y'all
Think for a second. Let's be real though. Let's think for a second. Those Arab guys that's shitting on them women over there. Well, what do you think they think of those women?
Hey man,
They
hoes
don't
can
think of
get.
those women as human
hey,
beings.
no.
They don't think of them as human.
I'm gonna
They
say
think to them they are human or living toilets. Do you
No,
think
that's
they
why
gonna
they
give
repent.
special dispensation? Do you think they gonna give special dispensation to live action toilets?
Look, Iranians ain't doing it. It's the Saudis. They're different.
no.
Different group of people.
I'm I'm gonna give you information that follows up what the Uru was saying. The areas that they keep these women in, they have a special name for them because they keep all the women
Hmm.
in these same like barracks. They call them kennels. Think about that.
not surprising,
I,
not
I, I,
surprising.
s- I saw a video on another social media of a girl who claimed she was in there.
Hmm.
They're in this essentially barracks or whatever. I don't know. And she was uh, recording, and you could hear people fucking in the background behind her.
Nah, nah,
That's where they at, man.
all right, I want to read this
Yeah.
from Joe's. Shout out to Joe's. He says, remember, born again virgins are method actors.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, y'all, I also want to
Damn.
say, I was making a very serious statement because I do want people to pay attention. That's my whole point of the thing. What today's date is, in case you hear this later, it is the 13th of March of 2026. If your friend, your girlfriend, your associate, whatever, whoever she is to you, if she had a problem getting back home at her scheduled time, I'm gonna say you might want to double check, y'all. The first time I remember hearing the statement "trust but verify" was from a woman. So if your wife went out of town, okay, if somebody said they was working on this project and they called you back, yeah, it's gonna take us a little longer than what we thought. Some stuff is kind of out of pocket. I don't know exactly when I'm coming home. I'm gonna let you know as soon as possible. I ain't saying she over there. All I'm saying is right now, I would definitely check if anybody has to change travel plans. Real talk. That's not a joke. If somebody has to change travel plans, you need to make sure on this weekend, you need to find out what actually happened with their particular story. And that's just real talk, because you may find out what you need to know, and it is what it is. So, I don't know how we even got up to this point in this conversation, but I had to dip out a couple times, so it's
No,
all
but I,
good.
I tell you, Roger, I tell you how we got here. We actually started digging into, the role of fathers with daughters. And this is just that line when you don't have a father, and we were talking about it earlier, that's consistent. You don't have that presence. These are the things that you get. This is the fruit from that tree when you don't have a stable father presence constantly in the house. This is
Yeah,
what you get. This is how we got down that road.
yeah,
This is
and
exactly how we got down that
also,
road.
hey, look, some you, and kind of to drive home that point. Um, if a woman truly has a good and loving and respectful and reverential relationship with her father, that porta potty thing, she
It
might
don't
kill
happen.
herself before she let her father. But she might kill herself before she either don't do it or she might kill herself before she let her father find out she's done that. Literally.
That's right.
I'm not even exaggerating.
I can vouch for this because the African chicks that I kind of do mess with, the ones that come from upper class, they send me the videos, but they got a real, hey man, my father can't know about this thing, and when I mean everything is basically with them is through their father. Like, hey, I'm doing this, but my father can't never know about this. Like, and me, I actually kind of respect it. It actually makes me like look at them very, very different. I'm like, oh, I gotta almost make sure I kind of handle this situation with a little bit more care and kindness and whatnot. So it is actually true. If she actually have a father in her life that's actually stable, oh, bro, it's everything's almost filtered through that lens, which is a blessing.
I want to say a quick shout out to the darling of the channel. She puts in the super chat. She says, "Trust but verify, read and codify." Shout out Jado. And you know what, y'all? I don't think she over there. So again, y'all. Again, it is March 13th. It is Friday, March 13th.
I mean,
you know, and this didn't just happen today. So if you're in a weekend that was somewhat close to this particular weekend, I don't care when you meet her. You know, I don't know how you know her, but check them travel plans. If it was last weekend she went out of town or something, man, I'm just saying, make sure, y'all, make sure.
Hey, when she
Hey,
call you,
darling,
when she call you, tell her
darling,
to share that app she uses.
hold on now. Now you're gonna have to confirm that you're not over there, Roger. The way you put that, you need to certify you ain't over there, darling, because Roger was kind of
I don't think she
irresponsible.
That was shade, Roger. That was shade.
No, I was saying I don't think she over there. What I'm saying is she ain't one of them women that's over there because you don't have to be over there. That's what I'm saying. Okay. My bad if I said it wrong or something. My bad.
When you say I don't think
you
she
said it
over
wrong.
there, implicit in that is the possibility that she over there.
Now you say it like that, now I think of it.
Yeah,
I don't think she over there.
If I had to bet my money on it, she ain't over there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. She is not over
I was
there.
a betting man. Okay.
Okay. I have no thought that she over there. Okay.
You know what?
Roger,
You know what,
you be giving
Trust?
them backhanded compliments.
You know what, Trust? Everybody up here know you ain't over there except Roger.
Except Roger.
Look, man. In this particular situation, I'm gonna just fall on the sword. Okay, look, y'all, my bad. I did not mean it that way at all. These dudes is tripping, but they got me outnumbered right there. Okay, that's all it is. They tripping, but they got me outnumbered.
I know Trust. She's not over there.
Yeah, Trust. Yeah, there's no way I believe she's over there. Not. I wouldn't even think of her like that. Real talk.
No way. She's not that.
I don't know, but she did tell you some good information. Trust but verify though. So I'm just gonna. I'm gonna stick to the way information she gave me though. Trust. She said trust and verify. I did see a video of her yesterday over here, so she's still good though. So
hold on. Who was the Roger? Who is the person in the chat that talks about glitter titties, stuff like that? And,
what?
Talk about what? What you talking about? What titties?
Glitter on her titties, and she was like,
he say glitter on her big old bitties.
I don't remember who that was. I'm being honest. I just don't remember who that was. I remember something like that coming up though.
I haven't seen her in a while. She might be over there
now. What are you talking about?
No, we had a chick that said something like that over here.
There was one day she was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, I know that too, because I had glitter on me from the glitter on titties from the strip club, and then she said, yeah, she used to do it too, and now she might be over there.
You know what? She might be, because I don't know her like that. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna say shout out to Toy, and I appreciate the 57 cent her trail 50 tax.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
Maggie,
mean nothing by it. Okay.
Good point, Maggie. Maggie, if you're not Maggie, you better say something in the chat.
Lord have mercy. That's what we doing. Hey man, you know what? We had 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 58 seconds. We about to shut this one down because it's
Maggie,
starting
you
to go
got 1
south.
minute.
Okay,
Maggie, you got 1 minute to verify. Goddamn it! Or you got 1 minute.
Maggie, I am not saying that, Maggie. I am not saying that. I'm not gonna give her time to verify. I'm gonna trust that she's over. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing. Okay,
Well, how do you
Maggie.
remember that?
Maggie, good people, man. Maggie, good people. Okay, all right.
So, so matter of
How
fact,
do you remember that name, bro?
because
How do you remember the name?
Toya checked in, and also the other lady checked in. Maggie, the only one ain't checking in.
Hey man, we love our audience and we just want to make sure that they safe and they counted for. That's all.
Because
That's
what's her
it.
name? Dre Arena, 8167. She was like, I just want to hear Uru keep saying doodoo girl, right? So she checked in.
Y'all, I don't know what's wrong today, y'all. Maybe this Friday the 13th thing is actually making a real appearance today. I don't know what's going on because I don't put stock into that. But yeah, it's been crazy all day. Couldn't get the show started right. Couldn't get the link to drop. Now we got this going on. Hey, my apologies for anyone who's offended today. Okay, my apologies for anyone offended today.
Hey,
But we gonna get out of here. Well, I still got a show left. We gonna get out of here.
oh, Roger,
I'm gonna
can I say
say,
one more thing?
Lord, go ahead.
Well, you gotta keep the sticker. Ladies and gentlemen, all I'm gonna say is this: Roger started it, right? Roger said it first.
This
If
what I waited for, so he can accuse me of
your
starting.
woman showing up somewhere, if your woman ain't showing up somewhere, and all of a sudden she might be over there. So this is what I'm gonna tell y'all, right? If she ain't checking in at the Roger Report, you know where she at.
Look, on that note, y'all, it's been a wonderful, a great show. We had a little trouble on this show, but it still was a great show. I hope all y'all have a wonderful, safe weekend. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. We do this Monday through Friday. This is the greatest show on social media. Subscribe while you can. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.
Oh,